Okay. Let's see. Is it working? Am I live? Live am I? Can y'all hear me okay? Can y'all hear me all good? Alright. I am live, it seems. Also, it appears that the chat, like the text box where you guys send your chats in, is not loading, so we're gonna fix that real quick. Let's see. I forgot. Here we go. Chat box. I don't know why it's not loading. It might be. Hold up. Can y'all still? I think y'all can still hear me, right? See, we have this other layout here. Yeah, so see, that one's doing it. Let's get rid of that now. Is it working now? It happened to Hideo as well? Okay. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing this. Oh, there we go. Hey! Now the chat's here. Let's go. Okay. So when you see me, I'm gonna be looking down. That's because I'm using my really good webcam from like my normal videos for the stream because I got this like you can't really see it, but I got this little like thing. It's called a Targus. What it does is like it gives me extra like USB options. So like I usually do my streams on my laptop because my computer can't handle with the crap Wi-Fi we have to do streaming. So what I'm gonna do, try and do for now, is I'm gonna borrow a girlfriend's Targus, and it gives me extra like USB ports because I only have two. I could only really use my mouse and my mic. But now I should be able to have good quality on these streams. We're gonna wait maybe like 5-10 minutes, get some people in here, get the engagement up, let people join, and then at 12:30, we'll. I want to make sure my door was locked. We're gonna go through and we'll start reacting to the videos that you guys sent in. We'll do some hot takes, kind of like Hideo does, and then we'll probably do a Discord thing and have some fun with that. Um, if you're wondering how to send in your like videos that you want me to react to, if you go to our Discord server, there's a channel in like the text channels, like the top where you see like general and stuff. All the way at the bottom, it should say something like, I can't think of it. It should say like BLUELOCK videos to react to or something like that. If you send them there and then either at me or I'll just look myself, we're gonna go through and, uh, you know, find some good videos to react to. But how's everyone doing today? How's everyone doing? I wanna make sure everyone's doing good. I also want to send in the thingy real quick. Going to send your video requests. Is it working? Does the new Ego Geeks thing still work? Oh, I think it does. Yeah, it still works. All right. I don't know why it did that. Discord server. Join this to send your video requests in. Here we go. And now we'll pin this. And then boom. Now we got that pinned. Anyways, how was my day? My day was good. In terms of like what I did, like it's only 12:30 for me right now. Yeah, there's links in my channel. There's links in the description, and then now there's a link right there that you can click. In relation to what I did today, I woke up at like 9 o'clock. I woke up at 9 o'clock, chilled with the girlfriend for a little bit before she went to work. Where can you post your takes? So what I did was a while ago, I had a post that says what are your hot takes, and I had the community type them there, and then I entered them into a slideshow, and then we can go through the slideshow and stuff like that. But as I was saying, an hour ago from when she got ready for work, came back here, recorded the TikTok, posted that up, ate some breakfast while I watched some Shangri-La Frontier. By the way, peak show, by the way, Shangri-La Frontier, watch it, really good. Like if I didn't make BLUELOCK content, I probably would make Shangri-La content, if I'm being honest. Then I ate breakfast after I posted the TikTok, and then I hopped on a thing for I hopped on a call for a school thing. I just used the bathroom before the stream, and now I'm here. I got the stream ready and stuff like that. All right, Spirit, you got a question about Metavision? Hit me. What's your question about Metavision? Also, while we're on stream, we might even just start working on a video on stream. So you guys might find out about a video that's coming in the future, or one that's probably going to be dropping this weekend. So I have two in mind. There's one that I'm going to drop this weekend, and one I want to drop next Wednesday. What do you guys want me to work on, like on stream? I'll work on this and that. I'll work on one or the other, just depending on what you do. So one is my ego and no Noah theory video, and the other is a what if. I'm very not big on what ifs. I've made this point very clear, but this is a what if. I've seen some people talk about, but haven't do an in-depth thing, kind of like Onyx or Raven do with their series, and I want to do it. I want to have my own kind of what if. What do I think will happen in chapter 297? So I posted a video yesterday of what I think is going to happen. If you want to hear my thoughts on that, you can go check it out. It's a theory I'm very happy with. I had a lot of backlash for it because a lot of people don't seem to understand the context of what I'm putting in the video. Well, whatever. Yo, what's up, Dumbflame? How you doing, man? Spirit, you had a question about Metavision. What's your question? Destroyer mode Nagi coming. No, destroyer mode Nagi is not happening. Adaptability times human statistics would go crazy. Human statistics is just a worse version of what Isagi does. Like, human statistics isn't that insane. Yeah, the Rail one. That's what my thoughts were for what's happening next chapter. Your mother said she would braid my hair. My hair is already... There's so many knots and curls in this hair, it's pretty much already braided. Rail copies Destroyer mode. It's wraps for the whole manga. He can't copy that. Destroyer mode's a mindset thing. It's his flow state. You can't copy another person's flow state, you know? You like Nagi, but he ain't top 3. I would say Nagi's like top 7. Like, if I were to name 7 characters who I think, like, Nagi should be with, Rain, Isagi, Bato, obviously. Shigiri Bachara is another one. And then I'd either put Aiku or Kunigami in that spot of the 7th, along with Nagi. So, there's like 8 characters I would put there. But, How Isagi use metavision, can we use that in battle royale games, and also adaptability? Not really. I mean, metavision's just like the BLUELOCK in-universe tool of scanning, which is like a football thing. Like you're literally scanning over the field, so it's just like the superhero equivalent to that. Oh, yo, what's up, Suki? Tell Suki I'm saying hi to him. But yeah, it's 12:30, so let's get into the video. So if I want to see if you guys sent in, you guys did send in some. So okay, there's a couple videos I want to talk about. We'll start with this one. We'll start with the one all the way at the top, because this guy, we're gonna sub to him because he. Let's. There we go. So we're gonna sub to this guy, right? This guy right here. DannyDunzo, go sub to this guy because we're about to watch his video. This is the truth. Okay, so we're gonna watch this guy's video. It's very I haven't seen this before. Keep in mind, all the videos we're gonna be watching today are ones I have not watched yet. So yeah, the truth about Yoichi Isagi, or Isagi Yoichi. You know what I mean. Yeah. Let's peep his video. I want to make sure you guys can see what I'm like the stream right now. Let's see. Because Streamlabs has this thing where it blocks like viewer content and stuff. Okay. All right. Let's
most about BLUELOCK is how it completely breaks away from the typical anime and manga tropes, and it never lets you forget it. From the very start, the series constantly reminds us that this isn't your typical sports story, and nor is that more obvious than with its main character, Isagi Yoichi.
Yeah, see, that's something interesting I do like about BLUELOCK as well, is like automatically they go from the logic of like, oh, teamwork and all that stuff is important, to more or less building a team by building individuals. And I feel like it's not really highlighted in a lot of other yo, DannyDunzo. Hey man, you okay with me watching your video, by the way? I don't want to, if you're not okay with me like reacting and watching this on live, I won't. I just want to make sure this is cool with you. So again, if you're not cool with it, I'll watch something else. I don't want to like not have your approval. But I will say, like, the one good thing about Isagi is, as a main character, he is generic, but at the same time not. And oh, thank you so much, man. I like Isagi, but there's so much about him that feels good. Like, he's a character who loses and gets better, but he loses through trials that he then understands. It's not just like a loss and like, how did that happen? I'm gonna just surpass it. He thinks of ways logically to do that, and I think it's a really good writing. It's a really good style for writing, and just the character in general.
He is plain looking. He has no special physical gifts, and at first glance, nothing about him really stands out. Even characters like Deku, for example, who initially seem to fit that category, tend to acquire some sort of overpowered ability that lets him be on par with those around him. Or take Hinata from Haikyuu, another underdog protagonist, but at least he has a very innately high jumping ability that allows him to compete against those around him.
Yeah, see, that's another. Oh, hold up, is the chat? Yeah. Oh, my bad. Bop, there we go. The one good thing I will say about the whole like situation with like Hinata, hold on, actually, I'm gonna be honest, I completely forgot the point that was being made.
For example, be on par with those around him. Or take Hinata from Haikyuu, another underdog protagonist, but at least he has a very innately high jumping ability that allows him to compete against those around him. But Isagi, he doesn't have super strength like Burū, insane speed like Chigiri, or some freakish scoring ability like Nagi. The most special thing about him is that he's not so special, and BLUELOCK makes that crystal clear from the beginning when it eliminates Kira almost immediately, the one character who actually looks and acts like your typical sports anime protagonist.
I do like that, and I also want to say, your style is really nice. right? Like with my style, I try to get it fast. I try to get it fast paced. I try to get it quick. Point, 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 point. That's how I try to do it. But you really like flow. It's slow, but it's a nice continuous flow. Like how I put it is my style is kind of like a windy road. Like you're always turning, but there's always something new. While yours is like a nice straight line, but it's also a nice enjoyable cruising experience when watching. So I will say, um, your style of editing could use a little bit of work along with your audio, but even then, just your overall style is great. Your tone is nice and calm. It's not like outlandish. It's not incredibly hype for very slow editing, and I feel like that's where a lot of disconnect comes from, is editing style versus editing tone, and you match it perfectly. So I will say, very very
It's the
good
series'
style.
way of telling us that guy, the one who fits the mold, he's out because this is not his story. Instead, we're left with Isagi, who, let's be real, is kind of boring in the traditional sense. The only other time we see a protagonist this plain and unremarkable is when, However, it's possible that in trying to break the typical protagonist mold, the creator may have gone a bit too far, to the point that Isagi ends up feeling underwhelming rather than groundbreaking. Instead of being a genius hiding in plain sight, he often comes across as a character who needs blatant plot armor to succeed. This series constantly bends over backwards with mental gymnastics to rationalize how he keeps up with players who are faster, stronger, and more skilled than him. Rather than proving he's true to the best, it sometimes feels like the story is forcing us to believe that, and for that,
See, I disagree. Right? I don't think that's the case at all. So when it comes to like who Isagi is, you're right. He's a very generic character in terms of the Blue Lock series. He doesn't have any very identifiable outstanding weapons. But I think that's what's so good about him is the fact that you have all of these characters who essentially could be the main character, but then you have this character who shouldn't be, and he is. And he's written in a way that he can show that despite everyone's overwhelming like insanity when it comes to their skills, he can compete with them. He's able to keep a level playing field with just what he mentally can do. And what's unique about that is that you could always train your physicals. You can always train to have more stamina, to be stronger, to maybe run a little faster, right? But you can't really train your mind in the same way that Isagi's mind is here. So you're already giving him the edge in an area that most people wouldn't have the edge in anyways. And then you give him something that other people excel in that he can train himself to improve upon. And I think it's really good that in the context of the story, Isagi is a very mental character because Blue Lock is a very psychological series. While it is a sports manga, it's very battle shonen like, but also very psychological. It's pretty much a psychological assisted manga. Like it's a side genre of psychology. And that's part of the Blue Lock parts of Blue Lock I really like the most is the psychology aspect because he write Kaneshiro and Nomura write this story and make the story in such a good way that like expands upon characters aside from them just being soccer players. And despite all we see in this series is essentially soccer, we know so much more about them as people than just the soccer players. Like take Kaiser, right? Kaiser is one of the best players of the current generation, right? But at the same time, we know Kaiser to be more than just a good player. He is someone who struggles when it comes to self-appreciation, when it comes to acceptance, when it comes to accepting others. Um and this ties into his backstory. And despite all we pretty much know from him is being a soccer player, he's so much more than that. And I think another character that does this really well is Ness. And Ness is such one of my favorite characters in the series. Honestly, I might put Ness in my top 5 best well-written characters, like the most well-written characters in the series, and my favorites. I would put Ness and Kaiser probably up in my top 5, top 10. It's because of how well they're written in aspects other than football that make them good. And I think that's what's so good about Isagi is that while the story is told through a football lens, he's so good in other attributes of the story as a character. So that's what I think. I don't know. I'll continue.
for that reason, a popular nickname has came around the character. Plot Sagi. In this video,
Oh, by the way, sorry, I just unpaused. I'm gonna mention plot doesn't exist, right? Plot doesn't exist when it comes to stories like this, especially involving the main character. The only instances where plot exists, I would say, is something like Goku. So Goku was a character who, under the instance of this concept of lens, died, I think, 3 times and came back all 3 of those times. Now, as far as I'm aware, you can correct me if I'm wrong, when it came to Goku, Goku was someone who was supposed to kind of pass the torch on to Gohan, in the sense of Gohan was supposed to be the next main character because it would kind of continue the torch of the series. So Goku was for like the older generation, and as the newer generation began to grow up, Gohan was supposed to take the then. But stocks and sales had plummeted when Goku passed away, and that resulted in the mangaka and the writers having to bring Goku back, because if they didn't, it would kill their sales and the enjoyment for the series, and overall it would just result in a very bad timeline for the story, at least from that current point. And that is what I call plot, because there is no real reason to bring him back other for the fact of continuing the story through positive means. And with Isagi, it's not necessarily plot. It's just the whole concept of who Isagi is as a player. Isagi, I would call it plot if this wasn't who Isagi was, but Isagi is this kind of player. So utilizing his allies is what Isagi does, and elevating them to the next level by setting expectations that are reachable and enjoyable for them. That's what Isagi does best. And I wouldn't necessarily call that plot. I would say it's because of who Isagi has been written to be, and people don't want to acknowledge that. I think there's very little moments of plot in the series, and I think that's just I think that is something really good, is that through the writing there's very little plot, because it's a very psychology heavy thing and not just a battle or football manga, that you can explore the mental psychology of these players to then eliminate the instances of plot. Anyways, what is the most plot I've seen in BLUELOCK, quote unquote? That's a good one. See, I can't think of one off the top of my head. If you listed some off to me, I might be able to agree, or like I could come up with a thing better. Rin getting the Real bid isn't necessarily plot. I just think it doesn't make much sense. Oh, Hiyori getting through Lorenzo and making it look past. Okay, so that is what I would consider to make a little sense. I get that Hiyori is going through an awakening and he has a metavision, but with Lorenzo being the best quote-unquote defender there is, you either have to chop Hiyori being able to dribble past Aiku and Lorenzo's double press with his own metavision as plot, or Lorenzo not being as good as people believe him to be. I've said this, and I will continue to say this, Lorenzo is not as good as people think when it comes to being a center-back defender. The majority of Lorenzo's skills highlight themselves when he's playing as a midfielder, or as a defensive midfielder. He's very good with intercepting passes and man marking. But that's really all we've seen Lorenzo highlight himself to be. Aiku, on the other hand, is a really good physical center back. He's really physical, he's really reflexive, he has great spatial awareness. He knocks off like pretty much the 3 good categories that a center back defender would want to have. And he beats Lorenzo out in that regard, from what we've seen Lorenzo be able to do. And you could chop the logic up to Lorenzo was following what Snuffy wanted to, but at the same time, you can't assume that's the case, because we have to go off of what we've seen. So in the case of you can assume he can do more, sure, but your assumption cannot completely like destroy and annihilate the debate of Lorenzo's just not as good as physical defense as we've seen him be. With Hiyori, I don't think he should have been able to dribble past Lorenzo, because Hiyori, in that instance, I think had only been shown to dribble a single time, and that was just some quick ball control feat in the third selection against Chigiri, where he just slightly managed to break past him and then take a shot, or send the pass to Isagi. It's about all I think he's done for in terms of dribbling. I think I'm forgetting one, but I think that's all up to that point in the series. So, also his stat score wasn't even 80. Like when we saw Hiyori was next in line given stats, and he was an 80 overall, implying that Hiyori was like 79 tops or a B or B tier. So just above like starting Isagi. So I do think that there is some issues with that, but that's really it I can think of. Anyway, sorry, I know we're drifting away from the main video, but yeah.
I'll explain why I believe that moniker unfortunately perfectly fits this character.
No
As
true personal
mentioned,
weapon.
Isagi lacks any explosive personal attributes. He's not really fast or strong or even really gifted compared to other players. He doesn't have any unique skill or physical trait that allow him to break through defenses by himself. He's not like someone like say Bachira who can dribble past multiple defenders, or someone like Nagi who can receive the ball from any player, even if it's a weak or strong pass.
Okay, so that's not really fair to Isagi, right? Because you're judging him under the lens of individual talent. And when individual talent, we know from the story, is more highlighted towards genius-like players. So Nagi, Bato, Bachira, Chigiri, Rain, they all have explosive individualized weapons. While Isagi is a player who excels in a team space, being able to utilize those other people as his weapons, his tools to achieve victory himself. In terms of individual stats, Isagi is good, but in terms of what he can do by himself, he's not insane. Isagi is far more likely to win more 2v2s or 11v11 situations than he is to win 1v1 situations. And it's not because he gets carried by his partner, it's because he knows how to utilize his partner well. That's just what I think it works for Isagi there. And so when you say Isagi doesn't have any personal weapon, you're talking about in the terms of visual flashiness. He doesn't have any standout weapon because spatial awareness, higher spatial awareness isn't necessarily something that's entirely visible. I believe Isagi himself is based off of Inzaghi, I think his name is. He's a professional soccer player. And they both play as something called a space investigator when it comes to a player archetype. They are really good at identifying weak spaces and running towards them. They don't have any other excelling physical stats, but because they can see stuff before other people can, it still makes them an incredibly deadly player. So, while Isagi may not have a outstanding weapon like dribbling, passing, trapping, power charging, Trivella shooting, he still is a good character with good weapons because he knows how to utilize the weapons of other people when he's in that situation. That's how I think it is.
He will find a way to trap and score into a goal. Isagi needs to rely strictly on his teammates to create opportunities. Even to push the ball up the court, he has to rely on someone like Itoshi Rin or Nanase or Hiyori Yo to link up with him.
But the point being made here is that Isagi brings out the best in these players. Like, if you're looking at it at the surface level, sure, Isagi couldn't do these things without Rin or without Hiyori. But Hiyori and Rin don't play as well as they do unless Isagi's with them, because Isagi draws out their latent potential and what they're good at to allow for them to play their best. Like, if you put Hiyori on the Badminton team without Isagi, he's most likely not going to awaken. He's most likely not going to lead Badminton to victory in the same way that Isagi does. And without that trigger of Isagi, Rin couldn't enter his destroyer mode. So there's a lot of factors that you're taking out of consideration, and you're looking at it from a face, just a black and white thing. Can Isagi do stuff by himself? No, therefore he's not a good player. Or he needs these other people, therefore he's not a good player. That's not the case. You got to look at it more from the lens of the actual plays and what Isagi says. If I go back here, he says Isagi himself says, I'm going to draw out your abilities to assert himself. Because that's what Isagi does best. By linking up with people he knows how to... By linking up with people who he knows how to work with, he can draw out the best in them to then, therefore, draw out the best in himself. That's how Isagi works. So that's not necessarily a bad thing because of the situations he always puts himself into to allow for him to do that kind of thing. If he never knew how to assert himself into those situations, I would agree with you it's a bad thing. But Isagi knows what he's doing. He knows how to do that, and therefore I would say it's a good thing. Like, I'll continue with the video.
Someone like Toshirin, or Nanase, or Hiyori to link up with him. Now, a common retort to that could be that, well, there's other players who have their partners, right? You have Nagi who works with Reo, you have Loki who works well with Charles Cavalier, etc., etc. The only issue...
But you can't say Loki works well with Charles because they never linked up together. Like, every time we've seen, Charles has basically ignored Loki. They didn't link up a single time in the PXG and Bastion München game. And before the game, and so far after, Charles hasn't really listened or acknowledged anything that Loki says in a positive or constructive light. So I wouldn't say they work well together either, but anyways.
Issue is that even without them, they're still self-sufficient. Additionally, you might argue, well, there's teams that go around a player, right? Kind of like Burū and Ubers. Now, I may have criticized Burū in the past. However, I have also stated that in a system like Uber's, Burū can shine. Why? Because he is capable enough to carry the offense on his own. If you were to put Isagi in there, he would not be able to carry the Uber's offense. Another example would be someone...
Well, the reason he can't carry the Uber's offense is because Isagi individually, like, he's not all that. In terms of, like, the Uber's game, or even going into the NAL, Isagi's only main scoring weapon was the direct shot. And throughout all of his experiences, Isagi was really playing as a catalyst for his team. So he would cause everyone to awaken and therefore allow for him to awaken. But in terms of what Isagi does, in terms of like everyone else, Burū has great individual stats. He's a good dribbler, he's strong, and he has great shooting. If you fill up a team to support him in that regard, he's going to do well, because the places that he's lacking are ones that are good for supporting roles. But Isagi, he's lacking in shooting, which is not something you want for a supporting role. That's why he does really well on teams like Bastion München, because he has people to link up with and provide an accelerated awakening, like Hiyori, Yoichi, and Yukimiya. But he also has other goal scorers on his team who he can catalyze and compete with, like Kaiser, Kunigami, and Yukimiya again. So there's a lot of characters that Isagi works well with, and I wouldn't say that makes Isagi a bad character.
One like Bachira.
Also, by the way, I forgot your name. Danny, are you still in the chat? Like, I hope you're here and you're understanding
Who
the point
plays on FC Barcha. Yes, they've lost every single game because at the end of the day, it is a team sport despite the trope of egoism within the story. However, he is self-sustaining and able to create opportunities for himself. Now, you tell me, if Isagi could only devour Otoya and Sendao, do you think he'd be popping goals? And this is where the moniker of
well, no, because
Sagi
they
just
aren't
fits
good
in
characters
perfectly.
to compete
there's
with
only
or
one
force an
other
awakening
well-known
to.
striker outside of the BLUELOCK that played in the Neo Egoist League, that being Michael Kaiser. Isn't it very plot convenient that Isagi just so happens to be the only main character that plays with him? Isn't it plot?
Well, I wouldn't consider that to be plot. Isn't it make sense that Isagi is the only character who can compete with him? I wouldn't call that plot. I would just consider that good compatibility.
Convenient that he plays with someone that he can quote-unquote devour, which actually leads me to my next.
And again, Danny, I'm not trying to knock you on your takes or anything like that. I'm not trying to knock your takes at all, right? I'm not trying to say this video is bad. I'm just trying to give my thoughts on the topic. You're free to disagree with me, but I hope you can kind of understand the point I'm coming across with here.
Point.
Okay, the devour.
Due to the fact that Isagi has no personal attributes that he can rely on, his entire style revolves around using players that are better than him.
Yeah.
From the very, very beginning, we've seen that Isagi, because of the plot, has been blessed to have strong teammates around him.
Okay, here's the thing though. You're considering it like plot that Isagi has good teammates around him. But couldn't you just say that it's part of Isagi's character to be one who can utilize other people well? Like a playmaker? Is that not how he acted in the first selection? And in terms of Blue Lock, or in any story, of course there's going to be good people around you. If you're the main character, you don't want to, like, be honest. Wouldn't the story be a little bit boring if we followed Baro through the first selection? Like, on a team with nobody to compete with him? It'd be very boring. Like, even in, overpowered mangas, like Solo Leveling, when Sung Jinwoo is leveling up and awakening, there are still people around him who are relative to him in that instance. And only once he gets to the very upper tiers is that kind of decrease. Like, you got Thomas Andre, you got the Monarchs, whatever. That's the situation when it comes to that, right? When it comes to, like, Isagi and being surrounded by good people, when it comes to a story like this, you're not going to want to be surrounded by bums, because it would make it a boring story and no one would want to read it. But with Isagi, you're going to be surrounded by good people, and it's his character trait to be able to know how to utilize these people well. I wouldn't necessarily consider that to be plot, because Isagi is not the only character who's able to do this. Rain is another character who's able to do this, right? Even Bachira, to an extent, is able to do this. Like, we saw him work really well with Nagi, we saw him work well with Audio and Tokimitsu, and Rin. This happens like every stream, but he works well with other people, and I wouldn't necessarily call that plot that he can do that. It's more just like he's a character who is good at doing that, and that's his character trait. Like, if you want to call every other character's thing an individual weapon or an individual talent, this is Isagi's. And you can't knock it as plot when I could say to any other character in their individual abilities, you know?
Strangely, Team Z had Kunigami, Chigiri, and Bachira, who are very, very good individualistic scorers, surrounded by decent role players. Additionally, let's look at this go against the U20 team. Kudos to him, he did score, but two major issues with that is one, again, plot convenience. He just so happened to have learned that a day before the actual U20 match.
It's not plot, though. It's Isagi learning something and then applying it to his style. It's not you can't chalk up the events of the story as plot, right? Like, you can't chalk up the fact that Isagi was able to compete with Rain on an even level in the second selection, lost to him because of a factor. He questions and asks about the factor that resulted in him losing. He gets told about it, and then he learns how to apply it into his style for when a similar challenge presents itself. That's not plot. That's called development.
And two, that is a concept that can really easily be taught to anybody on that field. But again, ask him to try to copy other players' abilities, their dribbling, their passing skills, or their ability to control the ball, and that is where, again, Isagi can't compare.
Well, no other character can do that. Ryo can't even do that. Only character he can copy with a physical ability is Nagi, and that's likely because of how long they spent together.
Listen, here's an interesting thought experiment. Go ahead and send all the best strikers back to the first stage of Blue Lock. Now, go ahead and shuffle the teams and make sure that everybody's teams is more or less evenly distributed. Do you think Isagi, without playing with the top strikers, is going to be able to carry a bunch of scrubs to victory?
Yes, because you just described it as being evenly distributed. If you're going to say that Isagi is not good by himself, right? That would in turn label him as one of the scrubs. And therefore, you would put still really good players on his team with him. But even then, Isagi could still learn how to play around these people. Like,
3. Because I have no doubt that Baro is going to pop off regardless. Nagi is going to go crazy regardless. Even Chigiri, who strangely was kind of quiet in the first selection, is probably going to go off too. Same with Rin, same with Shidao, And there's a strong theory that even Corona Jin managed to be a top striker in his stardom. I am honestly sweating if I'm Isagi, because I would not know if he's able to somehow pass again.
But
Think
he
about
is.
It. Who is he gonna devour?
If you put Nagi Bado Chigure on the same team, he's gonna look at them in the same way he looks at Bachara and Kunigami if they were on a different team. It's the same thing.
And he has to devour this motherfucker.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
Can you say with certainty that Isagi gets through the first stage again?
I can.
Now let's say he does somehow. Second selection. He got Burū and Nagi on his team because through sheer luck or quote-unquote plots in Isagi's favor, he went against Burū along.
Okay, man, I'm sorry. I need you to go. I'd love to have a sit-down conversation with you about this. Right? Nagi himself chose to be on Isagi's team because Nagi himself said that Isagi was the most impressive one on the field. He didn't join him because he didn't join him just cuz. He joined him because he wanted to and said he was the most impressive. So that's how he got Nagi. He lost against Rain and then challenged Bado. Bado's teammate is Naruhaya. He's not very good. In terms of Bado versus Isagi and Nagi, Nagi himself said that Isagi said that Nagi is keeping Bado at bay in terms of that. So it just led to Isagi awakening and evolving. Which, by the way, it's not plot that a player can understand something and learn how to implement it into their style. That's just what Isagi does. And he does it well and he does it quick. That's his trait. Everything Isagi's been doing since the beginning of the series is not anything different than what he's doing now. Because this is the kind of character Isagi is, the kind of character he's being built up to be. And it's not like he wins every time. He learns, develops, and evolves, and loses, and when he does, he'll learn, develop, and evolve again. Till he wins. That's how it works with him. So beating Bado, Nagi was already keeping him at a standstill. All Isagi needed to know how to do was try to involve himself, assert himself, and he did.
Alongside Nagi, and Baro's teammate was Nishioka. Imagine if Baro's teammate in that match was somewhat decent. Imagine it was, let's say, Karasu.
But you can't blame Isagi for the choices that Bado made, right? Like you're knocking Nagi and you're knocking Isagi when he teams up with Nagi for being bad. But now you're not gonna knock Naruhaya or Bado because it's the same situation you're presenting. I don't know.
Or even Otoya. I'm sorry, they're not winning that. Because the normal 2v2 was essentially a battle of who was going to be less worse, Nishioka or Isagi. And I mean, congrats to Isagi, he managed to beat Nishioka, but that's it. Now, third selection. Through sheer coincidence, he got to pick Nanase and Hiyori-Yo.
Okay. Not coincidence. No, okay. It's coincidence. Nanase is was the worst player on that pitch. Isagi even says he's not very good. Nanase means nothing. Hiyori didn't even work with Isagi until the final play, so I don't know what you're talking about.
And
he chose to be on Team A, so it's not like Isagi was just happened to be there, got lucky to pick Rain. He chose to be on Team A.
Nicest people in BLUELOCK that were okay playing around him. But again, replace them with anybody else in that situation. He is screwed. In fact, he would have been lucky to make the bench. Now let's go to Neo Egoist lead.
But he's not lucky to make the bench because Ego chose him because he was a catalyst for Rain. He knows how to awaken the team and awaken Rain.
I already talked a little bit about this, but the fact that he made that goal in the U20 is the reason he even got to play in the first game.
That's true.
And from there, he was slowly able to devour the team. But mind you, the coach, Noah, literally set up so it'd be 50-50 between BLUELOCK and Bastard Munchin by the second game.
He's not saying it's 50-50. He's saying they're going to mix the styles because Kunigami and Isagi asserted themselves in BLUELOCK's ideology. Now he's, like, wanting to see how the team evolves with them here.
Because he wanted to test Michael Kaiser. And regardless, every single game, despite the fact that it was mostly BLUELOCK by the second half of games, Michael scored. Regardless of who was on his team, Michael Kaiser got to score no matter what.
And there's nothing wrong with Michael Kaiser
didn't get to score until the majority of the team were BLUELOCK players who were playing around him one way or
Okay, when Isagi first scored his goal, he only had involvement with Corona. Keep in mind, Isagi was the only person using Metavision to read the play that was linking up between Bado and Lorenzo. He intercepted the pass. He then worked with Corona to use their orbital resonance or planet hotline to break down the field, to which Yukimiya tried to stop them. He failed, which led to Isagi scoring. If you want to count Yukimiya in that play, fine. But that's 3 players out of the 8 others on the team. Like, Raichi didn't link up with Isagi there. Yukimiya tried to stop him. There's still Grim, there's still Ness and Kaiser, and Gagamaru's in goal in the 2 defenders.
Or another.
When are we going to react to hot takes? Probably in a little bit. I plan to go until like maybe
There's a
3
lot
o'clock,
of good about
3,
him,
4
but
o'clock on the
we
stream.
really can't deny the insane amount of plot that surrounds him. And this is because Isagi has no ability to completely dominate on his own, which leads me to my next point.
Honestly, moving in the
BLUELOCK
goal.
initially framed Ego as an individual dominant, as someone being able to carry his team no matter what and no matter who is around him. He alone is able to carry the game. However, it seems that the author is constantly moving the goalpost in order to justify Isagi's victory. He constantly redefines what the term ego means.
He's not redefining, he's expanding upon the definition. Like, for example, Predator Eye, as we know, Isagi identified it as something that Bado uses to score goals, but we know that that's not the full definition of what the ability is. We know it does more. When you get more information, you update your current definition of a subject. That's how that works. Isagi's slowly starting to understand himself and his ego more, therefore he's defining stuff a lot better, and we're getting new definitions for things. It's still the same core concept, and nothing else is different. It's still the same values. You're just getting an expanded upon definition and concept. That's how that works.
Originally, I was gonna
Also, the whole thing of like the solitary striker, that was to motivate people to push to become strikers. But Ego's entire goal is to take over the U20 team. He wants people to go in with the ego to become a striker, and eventually he's gonna train people to get someone to that point. But in doing so, he's also training others to go ahead and be in other positions. Like, the result of that is Aryu, Nico, Gagamaru, who have all switched positions to play more defensively. Even Raichi, who even said his main weapon was his shooting technique, is now a defensive midfielder, and he doesn't care anymore. That's the whole point of this. Like, the whole purpose of this thing is for Isagi to evolve, right? Or get to the point where he can be the best striker, but he does that by evolving his entire team in the process. Bado doesn't awaken or evolve the team. He leads them, sure, but that's not what he does. That's not what Isagi does.
I'm gonna go through every single example.
Also, hold up. Was this rage baiting? Danny, be honest with me. Because people are calling it rage bait. Was this like, is it at the end of the video, do you mention, yeah, this whole video was a joke?
He mentioned, but
'Cause
honestly,
if that's how that works and I see that at the end, I'm gonna be pissed.
this image is plenty. The fact
Wait,
that
don't
the
tell me.
entire
Don't tell me.
compass to really show off what I'm talking about should be enough evidence of mental gymnastics at play. It's pretty obvious that BLUELOCK was meant to create strikers like Burū or Bachira. And sure, maybe there's always some level of adaptation, because on one hand, you do want to add some level of nuance. For example, I think it's very, very interesting how we see that Isagi is able to essentially sell his soul for victory, but when Nagi does it, it doesn't really work because of the difference between a fast learner and a true prodigy.
Because a talented learner and geniuses, they have different mental processes when it comes to playing. Talented learners can sacrifice themselves for the sake of pursuing logic, and it works for them because that's how they play. That's how they like to play, and that's how they thrive when playing. Nagi doesn't thrive that way because they don't do that. That's not how the situations work. Nagi thrives with freedom, sure, but he thrives by acting as a genius and playing as a genius with his abnormal physical abilities. His plays become the singularity point. He doesn't want to play for logic, creating tactics, and using data. That's not how he likes to play.
Those are interesting topics, but that's really about it. Now, I know what a lot of people are going to say. His IQ/metavision is his unique trait. The only issue with this is that this would insinuate that he is so much more intelligent than everybody around him to the point that can compensate for physical traits.
That's what he is.
For example, it's not enough to say that he is smarter than Itoshi Rin, for example, but he is so much smarter than him that it compensates for every other.
I wouldn't use the term smarter. I would say he has better game IQ. but
part that is lacking physically. Even Nagi points out that Itoshi Rin and Isagi in terms of intelligence are about the same, but
at that point in the series, in second selection, sure, they're relative, and because Isagi is keeping up with Rin's thought process. Like, the whole thing is Isagi's vision compensates for his lack of physical skills. That's what it is. That's how it works. Isagi has improved his game IQ and his intelligence when it comes to the sport and his information processing. And with Metavision, he drastically improved that. That's what Isagi does. His brain and his thought process compensates for that because he has tools around him to utilize. That's what he's good with.
Itoshi Rin completely dominates him in every other physical trait. Again, you're telling me that Isagi got so much better to the point that his intelligence not only surpasses Rin, but also enough that it compensates for everything else? What about players like Michael Kaiser, who also have Metavision, who are also high IQ players?
Okay, yes, he has a high game IQ, but in terms of Kaiser's game IQ and Metavision are not as good as Isagi's. Like, aside, the only person who has higher game IQ than Isagi right now is Snuffy. That he's the only character in the series so far to have a better game IQ. There are conditions where some characters surpass him. For example, Ryo in Manshine City and Kaiser in this moment here. There's 100% moments where there's conditional elements that are applied that let these players have a higher game IQ. But overall, Isagi has the highest game IQ out of all of the blue lockers and in the U20 category. That's where he excels in.
Karasu, Ryo, all these people who initially were a lot better than Isagi. Again, I'm not saying that Isagi is straight cheeks either. Compare him to someone like Lemon or Kuon, who physically are stronger than him. I could still see him realistically beating them because the difference isn't anything too crazy. But again, when you compare him to someone like Shidara Yusei, who is doing bicycle kicks, Baro, who's charging in, holding on.
I wouldn't use the argument of Shido because Shido is a very dependent player. If you take away Charles and Sai, I would barely rank him in top 10. I have 10 characters I could list off right now in the Blue Lock project who I would put above Shido.
Off two defenders while scoring a goal. You see Nagi trap the ball anywhere and score. You're supposed to tell me that Isagi...
Those are geniuses, though. You're comparing him to geniuses, and in the series himself, talented learners and geniuses are not in a hierarchy. They're on a mutual playing field that stimulate each other for development. Sure, in terms of the starting point, geniuses are going to have the upper hand, but throughout the process of the game, talented learners are going to excel and do better. That's how this works. On an even level, geniuses are going to surpass talented. On a face-off value, one-on-one, geniuses are going to be better. But in terms of overall, talented learners excel.
This by above average critical thinking skills. That is to say, he can definitely be a great midfielder. He can read the floor really well and make decent passes. You know I said his physical traits are lacking, but that's only compared to the other top dogs. Against randoms or people who are fodder, I could see Isagi being better than them. However, amongst everybody in Blue Lock, trying to convince me that Isagi is capable of being the best striker, I'm sorry, but that is just straight plot convenience. Therefore, the only fair thing to call Isagi is indeed plot soggy. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video.
Okay. Danny, are you still here? If you are, I'm just gonna go on a rant. Man, good video. I really like your style, and I think you definitely have potential in this community. I'm gonna recommend you something. So, on my channel, if you go to my channel, right, go to this video, scroll down a little bit, you're gonna see a video that looks like this right here. Why Yoichi Isagi becoming the world's greatest striker just makes sense. Do me a favor and just go watch that. Right? Do me a favor and go watch that video, because I made a video very similar to how you just did, and it talks on the other end of this, why it does make sense Isagi becoming the best striker in the world is possible. So do me a solid favor, go check that video out, let me know what you think. If you still disagree, totally fine. If not, come on back and just tell me what you think of the video. Yeah, I appreciate you for doing this. I left you a sub on your channel. I cannot wait to see you do more. By the way, guys, go sub to him right here. I'm gonna put his channel in the chat right now. I want you guys to go sub to him. Great content. I see a lot of potential from him. So do me the... Oh, it didn't post for some reason. Wow. There we go. All right, there we go. Go sub to him. Go check him out. He has a lot of potential in this community, and I am going to keep updated on his content. So yeah, guys, do me that favor. Let's see. Did you go up any subs? Did anyone listen to me? I hope someone listened to me. If you didn't, I'll be sad. Yeah, I see someone did. Yeah, give my man some love. He does. He's making some good content. All right. I think it's time we check out the next video. So yeah, by the way, guys, you send stuff to the chat here, the BLUELOCK videos to react to in our Discord server, and you can send in your videos. These can be TikToks. These can be TikToks, or these can be YouTube videos. But we're gonna watch this one next. I have a huge thing I want to mention real quick. So
one topic that I have always...
Right. Here's the video, right? When it comes to this creator, this is Natsu. I'm going to tell you my straight up opinion on this. I've mentioned it to a lot of other people. I've mentioned it to a lot of other creators. A lot of content creators I mentioned this to. I do not like Natsu. I don't like Natsu. I do not find him to be a good content creator. And when I look at what he does, I am not a fan of I'm not a fan of it. I don't like his content. Just to address why, I'm gonna go to his channel real quick. Like, the majority of his content is straight chapter reviews, right? He's a glorified leaker. But what he does is he puts out these videos in 90 minutes of the chapter being dropped, which is essentially impossible unless you are using AI or putting very low effort into your videos. And he is. And the fact that people want to consider him to be the best BLUELOCK creator is very disheartening. He's a glorified leaker who uses very wrong translations. I've spoken with Enamasu, who actually can read the kanakata, I think it's called, the Japanese text, and Natsu uses incredibly wrong translations that we are forced to try and correct when it comes to our own videos. And he's just trying to be first, and I feel like that's where the issue arises and why I don't like him. Listen, he can keep making his content. I don't care. I just do not like him, and that's just how it is. Yeah, the voiceover is AI. His scripts are just copy paste. Katakana. Thank you. I don't know why I say kanakana. Thank you. If I were to consider anyone the best BLUELOCK creator, it would be Hiryo. Hiryo is by far deserving of that title. He puts in a lot of effort into his videos. And his editing is smooth, great. His audio is crisp, he's clear, he is fully open. Natsu only posts the leaks, and his opinions are very, very sparse. His translations are very, very wrong a lot of the time. That's all he does. He's a glorified leaker. If he stopped making leak content, he would not have 90% of his following. That's just how it is. I don't like him, but that's how it is. We're going to be reacting to his video, because that's what you guys had suggested for me.
One topic that I have always been super interested in when it comes to BLUELOCK, and just talking about BLUELOCK overall, is what the best starting 11 would look like. Now we had Ego's version of the BLUELOCK 11 for the U20 game, but a lot of things have happened since then. Characters have gotten stronger, or in some cases weaker, which could really influence a better and newer BLUELOCK 11, which is exactly what I will try and tackle today. As I, with my football knowledge consisting of watching Premier League occasionally, I will take on this challenge and create what I believe would be the best BLUELOCK 11 team for the upcoming U20 World Cup. Anyway, with that out of the way, be sure to grab your favorite snacks and let's get right on with the goalkeeper, which to be honest won't be a shock, as it's of course the wildlife expert Gagamaru Jin. Now let's be real, who else would be there to protect the goal, except for Gagamaru? You could make a case for Fukaku, but we have barely seen anything from him, and what we have seen hasn't been nearly as close to what Gagamaru has shown us in both the U20 game and the Neo Egoist League, as in the U20 game he made his insane handstance block, and now in the Neo Egoist League, he tapped into his ultra instincts and saved an insane shot from a new awakened Burū, and since we haven't seen a new Gen 11 goalkeeper yet, I would confidently say that Gagamaru is the best goalkeeper in the series, both due to the fact that he is insanely good, but also as he is like the only goalkeeper alongside Fukaku, so the competition isn't fierce. But yeah, I can't wait till we get to see the new Gen 11 goalkeeper. Alright.
Yeah, you see what I mean? This is so obviously AI. And I have no problem with AI, but at the same time, when all of your content, when you're putting out a video, when you're putting out chapter leaks using AI in 90 minutes of the leaks being dropped, that is not content that deserves having so much stuff.
Moving on.
Fukaku should not be starting goalkeeper. His experience means nothing in relation to what we've seen Gagamaru do.
From the goalkeeper position, we get to the center backs, where it gets a bit tougher. Now, for the center back position, we have 4 candidates, and those are, of course, Aiku, Nico, Ryu, and Raichi. Now, before we start to discuss between them, I feel like we can secure one spot for certain, and I'm of course talking about the captain of the previous U20 team, and the acting police officer Oliver Aiku. Now this shouldn't come as a surprise, as Aiku could be considered the best defender we have seen outside of Lorenzo. Aiku's physicality is where he really shines, as it's like his body is made of steel. He has the body to both run around like crazy and stop incoming attackers, but also involve himself in fierce duels. On top of that, he also possesses meta vision, which gives him a crazy boost in the defense, as he can be one step ahead of the attackers.
I agree with Aiku,
or if the attackers also has meta vision,
is this video a reason? I have no idea.
Equal footing to them, and
this video was made 2 months ago, so I guess it's somewhat recent.
Won't fall behind. Now, who will be partner in crime to Aiku? Well, we have some options, but firstly, I would like to eliminate Raichi. Now, Raichi had a great run against Snuff, and just moderately to creep in, as we have to choose between them. Now, I would say that Ryu is a better physical player, as he's extremely tall and is extremely well trained.
I will agree with him on
this. In the physical department, as him and Aiku could team up and take down potential attackers together and stop them in their tracks. Also in corners, Ryu would be a great addition, as he would probably be able to get to the ball first and head away it, which would cause Gagamaru to feel some relief under corners, as he knows that Ryu probably has it covered. Now we then go to Nico, who's like half the size of Ryu. While that might be a over-exaggeration, he's definitely a lot shorter than Ryu. But in his case, he offers something else, as we saw in the Ubers game when he faced off against Isagi, that he actually possessed metavision. We also can't forget his watchtower action in the U20 game, as he went pretty nuts there. Anyway, alongside Aiku, who previously stated also has metavision, him and Nico could link up together and try and see the whole field and try and eliminate any danger before it actually arrives. So all it comes down to is if I would rather prioritize physical strength or a more intellectual player who could see the field like Aiku can. And while it would be dope to have Ryu on the pitch, in my opinion, I feel like I kind of have to go with Nico.
Okay, yeah.
He just
No. You're not going to have Nico, right? Nico is a worse version of Aiku. He just stated that. Why would I need a worse version of Aiku when I already have Aiku? We've seen Aiku be able to cover the entire defensive side, like the defensive half of the pitch by himself. So what purpose does Nico have as a center back? As a center back, you are my defensive player. I do not want you moving forward. I want you sitting on defense. Right? I want you to stay back on defense. That is what I need you to do. As a center back defender, Nico sucks. Nico has no strength, no physicality, no jumping. He is good at reading the field, intercepting a pass, or linking up with passes. But that's not what a good defensive player does. A midfielder can do that, great, but that's not what he needs to do.
Serves such a good link up to Aiku on the other side, and I think that with Aiku's guidance, Nico could become an even more menacing center back.
Yeah, but you don't need Nico when Aiku does everything Nico does and more. There are things that Ryu can do that Aiku can't. Ryu has much larger of a reach and has a lot higher of a jump. Those are areas that Aiku cannot cover. He can cover every area that Nico can. He's not needed.
Now I will say that I almost took Ryu due to him having a higher offer in the Neo Egoist League, which I'm not really sure how he's gotten, as I feel like Nico played better in the match against Bastard Munchin. But anyway.
Like, okay, I get Nico played better, but Nico didn't play better as a defensive player. I think Nico had one defensive interception. I think that's it.
My pick with Nico is standing strong. Hey, it's Natsu, mid-editing here, and I just wanted to pause the video to ask you to subscribe if you haven't already. And while you're already down there, why not leave a like here? And I just wanted to pause the video to ask you to subscribe if you...
There's also been a lot of, like, things spread that Natsu has botted his channel. I had some buddies send me some, like, evidence of this. I don't want to share it because I don't want to out them. But as far as I've been told, it's likely he bots his channel. So I don't know the deal with it, but I don't know.
If you haven't already, and while you're already down there, why not leave a like as well? Now moving on to the right and left backs. There's a ton of players I could pick from, as there's so many players who have the ability to play in these spots. But for the first position on the right side, I have chosen my absolute favorite character, so I might be a bit biased. But it's none other than the Princess Chigiri. I could pick from, as there's so many players who have the ability to play in these spots. But for the first position on the right side, I have...
Okay, no, you can't have Chigiri on the right side. Bro, like... This is how I know I'm very certain this guy may not even read the manga. Chigiri's entire development in the NEL is to be built on the left side. On the left side. Right? On the left side. Why would you put him on the right side? His entire development is to play as a striker on the left side. You would not put him on the right side as a defensive... You're just building the U20 team. Like, you're trying to build your U20 team. Like, what the BLUELOCK 11 team, and it's stupid. Everyone has...
Here he serves as more of an offensive right back, as we saw in the U20 match. Now his biggest downfall in the U20 match was that he didn't have the stamina to sprint for the full match. But after training his body to the max with Chris Prince in the Manshine City facility...
So what if he's a... Wait. Oh, hold up. Ledgers, are you saying he shouldn't be on the left side because he's a right-footed player? Is that your argument? Like, legitimately. Okay, I get Chica to use the right foot for crosses, but I'm a right footer, right? Okay, hold up. We're about to have a conversation here. All right. So, for those who don't know, I played football myself. I played soccer. Football, soccer, same thing in America, right? I played that for 6 years. I played from 5th grade, I know it's not impressive, but I played from 5th grade all the way to my sophomore and junior year where I played on the varsity high school team. That's what I did. Now, eventually, I stopped playing. I devoted more of my attention towards my schoolwork, and I started doing YouTube. Taking more time towards my schoolwork allowed me to go to college, not having to pay for anything. And I can do this in YouTube and get paid to do this, right? But that's not relevant. What's relevant is when I played the sport, I played exactly like Chickadee. I am a fast runner, and I play on the left side, despite me playing with my right foot. That's what I do. It's not unlikely for you to be on the right side because Chickadee isn't playing as a defensive player anymore. He's playing with the intent to be a goal scorer, with someone who doesn't want to pass anymore. It's like this. This is another reason I don't like him. It's like he doesn't read the manga. Chigiri himself said he doesn't want to become a player who has to pass. He wants to score goals for himself, using his speed to break past defenders. So you're going to want him to be on the side he's comfortable with to score goals. Yes, I was a winger. I played as a winger. I played everything. I played center forward, I played winger, I played midfielder, I played defense, and I played goalkeeper. I've played every position. But the bottom line is that Chigiri doesn't want to be a crosser anymore. He wants to run to the left side of the field, his golden zone, and take a shot. That's what he likes to do. He'll pass if necessary, but you don't need to be on the right side to pass with your right foot. He's been on the left side and still made good passes with his right foot before. Because Chigiri can do curved passes now, so he can curve it in the way that he needs to. Like, that's why I don't like Natsu. It's like he's doing this just for a paycheck. He doesn't really seem to care. He either bots his channel, which I think I have like solid evidence that he does bot his channel. You have, oh, bye Dumb Flame. Thank you for joining in. You have the evidence is that Chigiri doesn't want to play as a defensive player anymore and wants to score on the left side of the field, where he's good at. And now you're putting him on the right side back for an entirely different purpose than what he wants to play is. Sure, you could have him play in a position that you think would be good for his style, but that's not how he plays or his style anymore. So that logic doesn't work. Man, I don't like this guy. Like, bro, I'm getting incredibly aggravated. Alright, the chat isn't working anymore, which is a little annoying. I don't know if it's showing up. Is it showing up like here? I don't know what's happening to it. Whatever. We'll just continue without the chat box being on screen. But yeah, let's just...
I feel like he should be fine now. Chigiri would serve as a great right back, as thanks to his speed, he can fast be both in the defensive line and the offensive side at both times. Also, if they are going for a fast counter, then Gagamaru can easily throw the ball over to Chigiri, who will start the counter and catch the opponents off guard. However, due to him being a right back, he won't be able to attack and get shots on the goal, which is a bit unfortunate, especially when he's been showing such great results in the Manshine.
So why do you put him in a position where he can't do what he's really good at? You're taking away one really good attribute of his character for something that he could do moderately. There are so many better characters you could have in the wingback position, or in the side, or as a side back. You can have Corona, Kiora, or Hiyori. Those are three really good characters you can have in that position that I just named.
In city matches, but I do think that this is the right spot for him. Now we leave Chigiri and instead go over to the other side, which is of course the left side. Here we have tons to pick from, and to just name a few, we have, for example, Karasu, Zantetsu, Kiora, or Hiyori. Now let's be honest, but we can take away Kiora from the nominated in an instant, as he hasn't shown nearly enough good result for him to end up as a starter. Now it would be cool to see Chigiri on the right side and Zantetsu on the left side. Just imagine that duo. They would honestly be insane, and the attacking power from the backline would be massive with two players who can basically move around extremely fast and freely. However, in my opinion, Zantetsu hasn't shown enough improvements and feats for him to gain a spot in the starting squad, which honestly sucks, as I felt that the author could have done a lot more with him. But then, we have Hiyori and Karasu left. Now Hiyori wouldn't necessarily be a bad choice. If anything, he would be a great choice, as he's been amazing in the recent Neo Egoist League games. And I might just be totally stupid, but
Hiyori's
with that
not
said,
bad.
I do pick Karasu over him. In my opinion, even if this squad
honestly,
is like 90%
this is one of the only takes I'll agree with Natsu on. I think Karasu is good on the defensive line, even as a side back. But I feel like you put, he's way better in a center defensive midfielder position. What you could do is, given this formation, you have Chigiri go as the left side back, Karasu as the right side back, and then when you have, when you're going through the play, when Chigiri, you have Chigiri the opportunity to push up and become another forward attacking player, and then you have the entire defensive line shift over and Karasu move towards the middle while still being on the right, so he can still play defensively, kind of like he did in the U20 game. But I think this is still very...
Which is where Karasu shines like a light bulb, as with his analytical mind, and also the recent showings off his meta vision, he could, if trained right, be one of the most annoying defenders in the series, which we have seen some showings of.
Your argument, though, is that you're saying if he trained right. So you're saying if they train to be a different player than they are currently.
In the PXG game, and with three of the
I also sped him up again.
defenders having meta vision, I feel like they can coordinate with each other flawlessly and really work out a strategy which will annihilate any attackers which is coming their way. Now we move on to the last, I would say, defending piece of my team, as I have decided to included a defensive central midfielder. And now this is where I feel like I might make my first blunder off.
So you have a CDM, right? But you don't put Karasu there? You don't put Karasu or Raichi or even Kunigami? Like, your arguments here are Hiyori and Ryo? Like, are you kidding me, bro?
the video, as I haven't decided to go with Hiyori, but instead Ryo. Now both are
Dude,
amazing
this guy
without
is
a doubt,
hot.
but I feel that Ryo has so much potential. His copy weapon is so insanely broken, and if he learned to use it right, and not only use it for the sake of Nagi, I definitely feel like Ryo could be a top 5 player in Blue Lock, but it's just his obsession with Nagi that is holding him back right now. However, I will make a speculating
Even with his obsession with Nagi, he's still a really
video
good
on
character.
Lanshan City
Bro,
versus
this guy's
FC
gonna be
Barca
high.
game, where I will admit that I have some crazy predictions in which
This is why I don't like this guy. This is why I don't like this guy. I don't think I've met a single other Blue Lock content creator who actively likes this guy. I'm pretty sure he's one of the most, like, hated people in the community.
Ryo is heavily involved. But let's talk about his weapon copy. With copy, he becomes such a dangerous defensive midfielder because he can pretty much do everything to almost perfection. There's a ball coming his way. Well, he can just pull out Aiku's snake jump and head it away. Or if he's getting himself into a 1 versus 1, then he can bring out Itoshi Sei's insane dribbling to get behind them. Ryo's
But your argument is that he would be a center defensive midfielder, implying that he would be trying to play a little more defensively. Like, your arguments you're making are better suited to him being being an offense, to just being a midfielder, just a standard midfielder, not defensive midfielder, not offensive midfielder. Just have him be a middle line midfielder or on more attacking midfielder. He's better to be an attacking midfielder. Like, I have no problem with Ryo here, but Ryo has so much more potential as a player in another position, than center defensive midfielder. Like, Karasu should be center defensive midfielder. He should be. Karasu, Kunigami, or Raichi. Those are your 3 picks. Those are who you should pick. Ryo, he's better on defense, offensive midfielder, or striker. I'd probably just say offensive midfielder or defense.
arsenal is so insanely stacked, and if he just used it to its full potential, he would become truly feared. Now to make a small recap of the defensive side of the team, we have Gagamaru in goal, Nico and Aiku as fierce center backs, Jigiri and Karasu on the sides, and Ryo in the...
This is a stupid lineup. This is a very stupid lineup. This is an incredibly stupid lineup. I have never seen a more stupid lineup than this.
middle. Now with that said, we go over to the more attacking oriented side of the team, and I've decided to include 2 strikers, 2 wingers, and 1 central...
Okay. 2 strikers, 2 wingers, 1 offensive midfielder. Who are we thinking? Right? Okay. I'm gonna go with who I would pick. Who I would pick. Right? In this instance, 2 strikers, off of characters that he already picked. I can't pick any new ones. I would say, my options would be Rin and Isagi as the strikers. On the wingers, I would put Bachiro and Baro. And then for offensive midfielder, I would put Hiyori. I'm not including Sai.
offensive midfielder, which we will start with. Now, how could there be a starting 11 if we don't include the broken striker, who is of course Itoshi Sei? Now, do I really have to say anything about this guy? He single-handedly played with the Blue Lock 11 in most of the U20 game, and I will stand by this till I die. But even in the end, Sei didn't go all out, which is why I can comfortably say that he has so much more to offer us. Also,
But you're building the ultimate Blue Lock 11, meaning you have to build it off of the 23 who are currently in Blue Lock. You can't just throw Sai there.
if the strikers and the wingers suddenly start to just play awful, then it won't be that huge of an issue.
Also, I really hope that Sai doesn't play in the U20 World Cup. I really hope he
Sei,
doesn't.
as a former striker, can just take on the role and go and score a couple of goals himself, which he demonstrated in the U20 match, when he told Sendao how awful of a striker he was, and in the end got so annoyed that he decided to just do it himself without breaking a sweat. Which is also my point to why he didn't go all out.
No,
in the
Sai is
U20
not
match.
playing.
He clearly stated multiple times that he played for the team and the U20 players, but I fully believe that if he played with himself in center, then the Blue Lock 11 wouldn't stand a chance. But at the end of the day, that's just what I think as a massive and biased Sei fan. But yeah, let's get back on track, as we kind of got off on a side note right there. With Sei's flawless dribbling and passing abilities, he would be able to coordinate and play with the attackers with no hesitation at all, as he would be...
Brother, I don't like this guy. He gives me an aneurysm. This guy gives me an aneurysm. This guy legitimately gives me an aneurysm. God.
be on equal footing with them. He could deliver them pinpoint passes that would lead to goals, and I really think that Sei is the most important player for the starting 11. Now I've glazed Sei a bit too much, so let's move on to the right wing, where we find no one else. Then the monster of Blue Lock, Bachira Maguru, in the U20 match, he was placed on the left. Let's move on to the right wing, where we find no one else. Then the monster of Blue Lock, Bachira Maguru.
Okay. Okay. Are you kidding me? This is how you know he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He 100% has to be using AI. Are you kidding me? Bachira Maguru. Bachira Maguru. First of all, you said it entirely wrong. Implying you probably don't watch the anime at all. Or have heard someone say his actual name. If this is your actual voice, which it's not. But you spelled it wrong. Are you kidding me?
In the U20 match, he was placed on the left back position by Ego, and instead Otoya was the one who was placed at the right wing. And I fully agree with that, as at that time, Otoya was a top 6 player. But now in the Neo Egoist League, he's having
Otoya was not better than Bachira. Shut the fuck up.
the craziest fall-off we have seen in a long time, as FC Barcha is literally just FC Bachira at this point. Bachira will serve as an amazing right wing, as thanks to firstly his somewhat unpredictable nature, and alongside his godly dribbles, he will have the
I
chance
think
to throw off the
Bachira is
defenders with ease,
fine to
even
be a
if he isn't
winger.
able to
I
break
would
the
just
ankles
put
off
him
every
on the
defender.
other side.
Then he can
I
just
put
send
him
a
as a
cross
left
into the
winger.
box, which is basically why I put
I'd
him
only
here
put
on
him
the
on
right
as
wing. Even
I
though
would only
love
ever
for
put him
Bachira
as
to
a
score
right
as much goals as
winger.
possible, as he is one of my favorite characters. I just don't think that it's possible
I'd
for
only
him to
ever put
have
him
that
as a right
position right
winger
now.
if
My plan with Bachira
Chigiri's
is
on
that he will
left.
throw the balance off the defenders, and when he's gotten behind a couple, he will send the ball into the box, where the strikers will be lying and waiting patiently. But also if Bachira gets bored to play as a side character, then he can just go into his Ginga monster mode and probably just force his way into the box himself and take a shot at the goal. Also, when adding in Bachira, we will also get some morale boost for the squad, as he will always try and boost the mood of everyone and just be a literal energy blast. As you can hear, I just really like Bachira. But moving on, we are going to see who will be joining in on the other wing, and it's none other than the king of BLUELOCK, Burū. Now Burū is a character who can make or break a team, as he isn't going to follow anyone's orders, even if they try and force him to. Also for this spot, it was either him or Shidu, and let's be honest, we have seen how much of a godly combo Shidu and Sei are together, and if I'm honest, then Burū and Shidu could replace each other. But my reason for picking Burū is that even if he isn't going to listen to anyone, I still
Burū, dude. Listening to this guy talk gives me an aneurysm.
feel like he will have a bit better synergy with the strikers than what Shidu would have. And on top of that, I would just love to see the combo of Sei and Burū together. They might not be as good as Sei and Shidu, but I'm not fully sure on that either, as something is telling me that they could shock a lot of us. Burū would also work like his counterpartner Bachira, as both of them are pretty unpredictable, and they would just make plays that don't make sense.
I have no issue with Shido, right, on the team. I would just put him in the I would only have him on the field in place of Chigiri on the left side as a winger. But like, come on, man. This is such incredible bullcrap. Like, if Sai is on your team, you definitely need Shido. Like, I have no words for this guy.
And I feel like this would throw off the defenders and put them in a state of shock, as they have to rewire their sense of the game and try and input the irregularities that both Burū and Bachira bring. Now also the most important factor is that Burū is an insanely good striker. He's low-key carrying Uber's whole attack, but still, he's just an insane forward. Alongside his predator eyes, he can figure out the best shooting direction, which would lead him to an easy goal. We saw
Okay. Here's how I know he's using AI, right? When you're going through, like, in text, how Baro's name is spelled. Many people do B-A-R-O with a line over the O, Baro, right? But in the manga, it's spelled B-A-R-O-U. When you put that into AI, it's gonna come out with Burū. Implying this guy 100% uses AI for his stuff. No, it's not the ant from Soul Leveling. That's Burū. Close, though. Close. He's saying Baro's name like the bear from Jungle Book. It is Burū! Some bullshit. Watashi wa Burū. Like, what the fuck? I don't think your wingers need to be able to dribble in the context. Like, I think while dribbling is 100% a great attribute to have in combination, Shido would only ever be on the team if his goal would just be to quickly score a goal. He wouldn't be to dribble. He would be to come on, score a goal, and then sub back off the pitch. That's his purpose.
match against Bastard
Does BLUELOCK actually have a genius midfielder on their side? Bachira, if you count him.
Munchin, that Gagamaru was struggling to even match up with his shot, and with Burū finding insanely hard and difficult places to shoot from, it only made it even harder for Gagamaru. Now yes, there will be better goalkeepers than Gagamaru in the U20 World Cup arc, but I still feel like they will have a hard time adapting to Burū, not to mention his insanely good build. It isn't the most important factor for a striker to have a good physical build, but in the scenario of someone like Aiku being on the other team, it's good to have someone with the upper body strength to match him and not just get tackled down right away. Now I'm not too sure if Shidu or Burū will end with the highest bid in the Neo Egoist
Hey,
League.
hold up! Hey! Hey, that's my
to
thumbnail.
match him and not just get tackled down right away. Now I'm not too sure.
Hold up. Wait, that caught me off guard. That's mine. Hold up. Hold the phone. Hold up. Hold the goddamn phone. Hold the goddamn phone. No, I need to... That's mine. This is my thumbnail. Bro used my shit in his video? Nah. I don't like this guy. By the way, do you guys want me to make more matchup videos? You guys want me to make more matchup videos? Let me know.
Shido or Burū will end with the highest bid in the Neo Egoist League, but currently, it's Burū who is the highest right now. Now I'm not too sure if Shido or Burū will end with the highest bid in the Neo.
Okay, this is also how you know his content is not good. Are you ready for this? I'm gonna listen to his audio.
The upper body strength to match him and not just get tackled down right away. Now I'm not too sure if Shido or Burū will end with the highest bid in the Neo Egoist League, but currently, it's Burū who is the highest right now with 1 extra match played. But even if Shido were to gain a higher offer than Burū, I would still stick to my guns and go with Burū.
He's using sources that are outdated for his evidence. He's likely using ChatGPT for this thing because we know Bato is not anywhere near the top. This is blatant bullcrap. This is blatant just AI content. Like, you see what I'm saying? This is clear evidence. If you read the manga, you would obviously be able to know this is not true. But he is actively using outdated information that he should know as a creator who covers the leaks. Unless he was just doing AI and not caring. When was this video was released 2 months ago. This video was released 2 months ago. This video specifically was released on January 14th. This video was released 2 months ago. PXG has been going on for a year. This guy does not care about the series, and he's considered to be the best creator. Are you kidding me? No one likes him for him. People like him because he provides the leaks. He is a glorified leaker. If he stopped posting leak content, no one would give a crap. You need to make some corrections. First, the green doesn't have metavision. I don't know why I thought he did, but thanks for reminding me. Also, yeah, I forgot to check he's much better on the left wing. Kind of crazy. Forgot to be his favorite character. Anyways, hope you guys still enjoyed the video. He's covering up the fact that his AI audio or his chat stuff is incorrect. If Chigiri is clearly your favorite character and you're putting up panels and hold on, this is 12:35. If you're pulling up panels and evidence that shows why Chigiri is better on the left side, you should know that putting him on the right side doesn't make any sense. Dude, like, this is incredible. This is downright evidence that he doesn't care about the content he makes or even fact check. He just uses AI ChatGPT to come up with the stuff for himself.
Move on to the
Like here, go into the comments. Let's go into the comments real quick. Let's sort by newest. Or here, actually, maybe go to top, because maybe his top comments are like his newer ones. When Natsu posts, you know it's gonna cook. What? Best manga explainer. W, bro. You're my favorite Blue Lock manga person. Great video. Are you, like, you see what I'm talking about? He's not a good creator. He's not.
strikers, and I feel like they are pretty obvious, but we will still go over them one at a time. And let's start with the poster boy of BLUELOCK, Isagi Yoichi. Now there's no way I could make a team without Isagi, as that would just be straight out stupid, as he's the player who's gone the most crazy in the Neo Egoist League, and has solidified himself as being on.
It's not a hate fest. I'm criticizing his content. I'm allowed to do that. Am I not allowed to criticize someone's content? Like, if someone is considered to be the best BLUELOCK content creator for sloppily made AI-generated content, I'm allowed to get upset as someone who makes BLUELOCK content, and it's disheartening because I put a lot of my heart and soul into my content just for someone to say that this guy's the best creator for doing horrible work. It's disheartening, and I'm allowed to get upset about that. That is a fact. You can't say it's pathetic. If you have a problem with that shoulder, you need to do some self-reflection on that. We are allowed to criticize people for their content if we don't think something is good. You are allowed to criticize my content. You are fully allowed to do that. You are allowed to think my content sucks. You are allowed to do that. But when someone says this guy is the best content creator as opposed to someone like Hirio, who puts tons of hours and effort and dedication into his videos with very good audio, editing, tone, flow, all of that is exceedingly well. And he fact checks his stuff. He's not perfect, but he has evidence to show he does really, really well and good stuff. I'm not calling him names. Did I call him names? I said he's using AI, and this is bad content. This is horrible content. He doesn't fact check his evidence. All he does, he posts leaks 90 minutes after they're done. Like, if you post leaks 90 minutes after they're done, you cannot do that unless your video is heavily AI assisted or not very well made. Because editing is a hard thing to do. It is not easy. It's the how, dude. Love your videos, but everyone's entitled to their opinion. I like constructive criticism, but I'd rather use like Hirio's reactions. I was recommended to review this video, but it's a matter of his choices are the choices he's making. I'm reacting to his choices make no sense. And as a creator who's has all this stuff, is really good. Doesn't Balakor do the same thing? Yeah, Balakor does the same thing, and I'm not hyping up Balakor. I'm pretty sure all Balakor does is post the scans, which is not really deserving of high views. You're putting out very low effort for content. You should not be getting very high rewards for it. I don't know.
On par with the new Gen 11.
I don't even want to finish this. So it's Isagi. I'm assuming Striker Porter's wrong. Yeah.
But if who?
Like, is he gonna reveal his entire formation at the end? Okay. Quick recap. This is his defensive line. These three, fine. I would argue Nico should be subbed up for audio. These two, horrible picks. I would rather have Corona in place of Chigiri. You have the speed and the passing attribute. And as the other side back, you could have someone like Zantetsu, Hiyori, Kiora. Go for another defender. Go triple up on defense and have Nico there as well. But like, don't get me started on Anime Greenlee. Don't get me started on Anime Greenlee, bro. Don't get me started on that guy. Don't even. Yeah, I don't know how people can watch AI generated content either. It's so low effort and people don't care. Like, people don't care. Like, these are bot comments. Those comments are bot comments. Like, this was his video. I don't really want to watch more Natsu, but I'm going to just do this real quick. Let's go to really quick. What is the hate going to Natsu for? What's the thing going to what's the hate for Natsu? Natsu's content is all AI generated. I just showed you several pieces of evidence that would confirm why it is and why it's so low effort. He does not deserve to be called the best BLUELOCK content creator for such low effort quality. He is making his money. I'm not shaming him for making his money. I'm shaming him for the fact that his content is so low quality and he's getting so much effort. Yes, it is AI. It is AI. It is 100% AI written and audio recorded. The editing, you can say whatever you want about the editing for that video. That video was not a chapter leak video. It is 100% AI generated. Scripts and audio. Anyways, that was a video. Let's go something else. Direct messages. Pencil, you're here. You sent the Natsu vid because it pissed you off. Yeah, it pissed me off too, but this is good content. I hope you guys are enjoying the rants. The rambles, all that stuff. Anime Greenlee is a weird dude. His content is super lazy and he hates on female fans for no reason. His recent video, the Nagiro agenda, was ridiculous. Here's the thing. I don't like him either. Anime Greenlee, I made a whole video checking him. He's not a very good content creator. Only the voice is AI. You can tell he doesn't want to voice it on the internet. That's not the point though. It's okay, I don't care about the AI voicing thing. The AI voicing thing is one thing, right? I understand that thing. Some people don't like their voice being on the internet, right? But again, when it comes to being a creator, there is going to be some level of your personal life you have to put out there. Or you should be putting out there if you want to be a creator. Like, your voice, if you want to show your face, that's fine. Like Raven, he doesn't show his face. I haven't ever seen Raven's face. But he puts his voice out there. If you don't want to put in the effort, you don't want to put in the sacrifice of showing your voice, I get it, right? It's fine. But the script is what the issue was. Like, when it came to him, this thing here. Why the issue is, when we talked about Burū, or when we talk about Chigiri, when we talked about Burū, there was evidence there that as a BLUELOCK content creator who talks about the league should be aware of. You should be aware of this stuff. Same when you go to Chigiri, he says that Chigiri should play as a right back, not as a left winger, which makes no sense given his character. He's putting characters with their specific weapons, and he's saying if they trained in this way, they would be really good. But he's turning the entire character different than what he is. And it's not a good video, and he's not a good creator this way. He's literally doing the same as you, just not showing his face and voice. What do you mean? I just explained to you. The dialogue he's using in script is something that should be clear to him as a creator that he's not addressing. Like, okay, here. Take his Chigiri moment.
Position on the right side, I have chosen my absolute favorite character, so I might be a bit biased. But it's none other than the Princess Chigiri.
So he puts Chigiri on the right side back. If it's his favorite character, he should know what how the character plays and what the character does. How they like to play. Chigiri's current style is playing as a left winger where he can score goals using his speed and break through defensive lines and score on the left side with his golden formula. Brother, it's literally his opinion that should... It's only his opinion. I'm mad because people want to consider him to be the best content creator, the best BLUELOCK content creator, when there are much more deserving people such as Hiryo, who deserves that title. He does not deserve the title of best content creator because his AI, he uses AI voice, which is not against him. I just don't personally think that's something enjoyable when you have to listen to an AI voice. When you hear things blatantly pronounced wrong because AI doesn't really have the same kind of understanding when it comes to creating stuff. Like tones like Burū. In the thing it says Burū numerous times. He spelled Bachata several times wrong. Again, not the end of the world. But it's a matter of the fact that when it talks about his favorite character, bad opinions don't necessarily mean AI. But the content he's using, the voiceover he's using is one thing. But it's the dialogue that's specifically said that's wrong. It's dialogue that's wrong. When it comes to, like, Chigiri here, he says Chigiri would be good as a right side back. And he says he's his favorite character. Yet he blatantly mischaracterizes Chigiri and his style throughout the entire thing. That's not a bad opinion. That's a bad analysis. In the comments, he also gets checked
now,
quite
Chigiri
often.
Serves as
right? He also says Lorraine has metavision. No, he doesn't. as someone who covers leaks every single week, you should know this, right? Chickadee would be better fit on the left wing. Kind of crazy to forget that, as he's my favorite character. But he uses panels in the video that would contradict his point, that show he's a left winger. So when he's editing, are you seriously telling me you didn't notice that it's that Chickadee should be on the left side? What? Like, it's the script itself that's the issue. He's not American, so of course the English would be off. Brother, that's not an excuse. You have your source, you have the source material for the story in your language. If you're going to make content on a story you can't understand the language it's written in, you shouldn't be making the content. That would make you a bad creator. What? There are so many better creators. Crocodile, Hiryo, they are way better in my opinion. I enjoy their takes way more and their analysis way more. What's my opinion on Extendo? You asked this before. I don't know much about Extendo. I honestly haven't watched Extendo's videos. It is his opinion, but putting Chickadee on the right side, the lock time his golden zone is suspect. It is his opinion if he wants to put him there, but he's putting there for the reasons of mischaracterizing the character, which he says is his favorite character, and he's using panels in the video that would contradict the point of him putting the character there. So the fact that he's making these opinions and being called the best creator, that's an issue. If he goes to if you want to make content, you have to be good at the analysis of the content you're creating. And if you are blatantly mischaracterizing, the character in the story, that would make you a bad content creator. It could be your opinion, but your analysis of the characters is bad. But people don't consider him that way. I think Suzzles is a great content creator as well. Suzzles, one of the best content creators I've ever watched in general. His analysis is what I would love to have. I would love to have his analytical skills. I would love to have it. Akira's thumbnails are so fire too. There's so many aspects of content creators I love. Like, I love Hiryo's editing style. I love his editing style. I love his editing style. I love Akira's thumbnails. I love Onyx's what ifs, and I love his tone that he uses. I love Akira's thumbnails. They're so good. Crocodile's energy that he brings to his content. Like, there's so many attributes of other creators that I would love. I've had people come into my comment section getting mad at me when I said that I don't like Natsu or his content because I think he makes bad content. He's not mischaracterizing though. Yes, it is. It's mischaracterization when you're putting Chickadee out of a position that he's trained the entire point of the NEL to fit your own agenda. In the video, he says that he would put Chickadee on the right side back because it would be good for using his speed to break from the defensive line to the offensive line and send crosses. That was Chickadee's old style, yes, but now that's not his current style or how he likes to play. And by putting him into that position, you are therefore mischaracterizing the character. You are mischaracterizing the player who you claim to be your favorite character. You're pushing your own agenda to suit another character. That is bad. That is mischaracterization. Him sharing his opinion is still mischaracterization. If you try to defend that, you have no understanding of what this is. And if you try to use the concept of, oh, it's in a language he doesn't understand, then you shouldn't be making analytical content on a story you don't understand. What makes a good BLUELOCK content creator? Good understanding of analysis of the story. I would say several read-throughs, open to interpretation from the community, and constant fact-checking. When I do all of my videos, I sometimes read through an entire arc for the thing. Like Ryo, I read through I read through all of Manshine City, and I read through all of the sections that Ryo appeared in the story, as well as I read through all of PXG again to make my Ryo theory video. And while you can say that was wrong, I at least still did the research for it. When he's doing stuff here that is blatantly wrong, that he could have done the research for, and then uses panels in the video that show his fact being wrong, his opinion being contradicting, and not supporting of the style of the character, he's pushing a character that he wants to do something else in another direction. I made a video where I said that Shido would be a good goalkeeper. I'm not saying Shido should be goalkeeper. The point was saying that Shido's weapons are good suited for someone of the goalkeeper position. Now, if Shido were to be put there himself, he probably wouldn't want to do it. and he probably wouldn't do good. But overall, his weapons are good. That was my point. If I said Shido should play goalkeeper, that is a bad take, and that is mischaracterization of the character. It could be my opinion, but it's very bad. Anyways, and you can tell he does the same. How else would he get the panels for the editing? But if he's doing the research, he should see that putting Chigiri as a right side back is mischaracterizing him because he doesn't like to play in that position anymore. He plays his best in a different position. You're sacrificing this character and all of what he can really do well for one or two attributes that you want him to do well. It's not... I know I'm a little upset, right? I know I'm a little bit upset, and I am getting upset, but it's because I have people come into my comment section and say that Natsu is the best Blue Lock content creator, and it makes me feel disheartened because of the amount of effort I put into my videos. The amount of effort I put in for someone to go, yeah, this guy's the best, and his quality and his content is such a lower quality than what I'm putting out. It's disheartening. I would rather someone say Hiryo, or Raven, or Crocodile, or Extendo. They put effort into their videos, and I can't comment on Extendo. I just thought of another content, or Sizzles. They put really good effort and content and amount of effort into their videos that I could see why you would say they're better. And that's justifiable. The reaction is 100%. Hold up. Yeah, this reaction is going on for a while. Let's go to the next video. Sorry, I got really heated there. I don't like Natsu, and I'm going to put this out there. That's kind of why I think it's an issue. Isn't Natsu an AI? Yeah, I would believe he's very likely. The majority of his content is AI. Someone sent in another Natsu. What if Isagi joined PX instead of Bastion? Mention, whatever. Anyone have any other videos you guys want me to watch? Can you do a Blue Lock bingo or other person bingo? Review other person's bingo? What do you mean? Like do a bingo sheet? A Blue Lock bingo sheet? That's kind of cool. How can you say he doesn't put the same effort because from my view, y'all just do the same. Just show your face and your voice. If you compare our editing styles, they are drastically different though. I'm putting my face and audio out there because it gives way more engagement to the viewer. People are much more in line to relate and associate with a video that has a face and a voice to it than AI. Because AI doesn't click with the brain. It's literally it's like a thing in your brain. Your brain doesn't register it as another person, it registers it as AI. And when it comes to Natsu's content, the script is what's the issue. The editing, you can argue whether or not the editing's good. It's the dialogue. It's the dialogue, and it's the dialogue that he's saying. It's the text, it's the script he's reading off of and using the dialogue for. That's the issue. He's saying things that are blatantly wrong for characters. He's putting Karasu in a side back position when Karasu was only ever played in a center back position or as a goal scorer. You're putting him in a different position that doesn't make sense. But obviously he doesn't want his face and voice. That's fine, right? But that results in lower quality content. Putting those things out results in higher quality content so long as you have the materials to do those things well because it associates with the viewer better. That's how that works. Whew. Alright. What video do you guys want me to watch next? Oh, Dark Hero Josh. I saw you guys mention that. I've actually never heard of this guy before. So let's
in the world of blue,
peep this guy. Let's peep this guy's 20K. Oh, damn. No, I have seen this guy before. I feel like I've seen this guy before. I've seen him before. All right. Here you go.
Blue Lock, there are many in the world of Blue Lock. There are many good midfielders we've seen throughout the series up until this current point. But if one thing's for sure, that is that the genius midfielder has been at the top of the chain of not only as a midfielder but also as a.
I will say, thoughts on Extendo? I have not watched Extendo. This is the last thing I'm gonna say, right? Undress shoulder. excel at different things that might generate more views. But Natsu is generating views from things that are very low quality, and the only reason he's generating views is because he's posting leaks an hour after they drop, which should be physically impossible for a well-edited video. He's putting a background thing and just putting up the text box. That's very, very simple. I could do that in an hour. Not even an hour. I could do it in 30 minutes. It's not a hard thing to do, but he's generating so much views from it because he's just posting leaks. The leaks I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about his original content. He's using script that sounds like it's generated from ChatGPT because it is inconsistent and ineffective with the statement someone would make if they actually read the story. That's how that works. Watch Extendo's video after this? Probably, yeah. I've heard of AceLock. I heard AceLock is good. Shadow and Myth do the leaks on Twitter, but people like Natsu and Animasu, they post the leaks day of. Or like sometimes they post the leaks through YouTube. And again, the only leaker I'm okay with is Animasu. I've spoken to him directly, and while I am not a fan of leaker content, he is a person who I enjoy talking to. But one thing I will say I don't like with this editing style is the text.
Until this current at the top of the
So this kind of stuff is very hard to read. You're putting the glow over the back with no kind of shading or just or anything to make it more visible here. It's very hard to read, and it's very issue with the eyes.
Of not only as a midfielder,
yeah, I'm not talking about
but
Natsu
also
anymore.
as a player
I'm
in the
leaving
under
Natsu.
20 category in a
this.
whole. He's a midfielder that pretty much checks off all the right boxes when it comes down to the requirements of the position. From his beautiful...
Have I heard of Hikiko Studios? I have heard of Hikiko Studios. I don't know what my opinion on them was. I haven't watched their I think I had a negative opinion about them, but I don't remember.
Full passing and dribbling technique being one of the best we've seen, to his amazing spatial awareness, split decision making, and of course, an unwavering ego to be the best. Itoshi Sai is pretty much known as the ideal midfielder in the series so far that you'd want to include in your team. But
I actually
what
spoken
if
to
I
less
told
of
you
an
that
anime,
there
but
are
I
4
haven't
players that
watched
I think are on the path to rival Itoshi Sai's skills as a midfielder and even surpass him in due time? Hey guys, Dark Hero Josh here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 4 players in particular who I think will either rival or surpass Itoshi Sai of the new gen World 11 in terms of a midfielder by the end of the series. The first sort of baseline for where he is Itoshi Sai's skill set to other 4 players, and also a refresher of what this man is capable of. We have only seen him play in one match, being the Japan U21, so it'll mainly contain feats shown to us there, but also some narrative points.
Have I heard of Dark Hero Josh? I don't know. We might be watching him now.
That were given to us throughout the series that I feel makes a bit of impact to the bigger picture.
I'm watching.
Chapter 115 was the first time we saw Itoshi Sai's abilities firsthand, with first his quick decision making, passing the ball before Chigiri had any time to think or react while he went up against him, as well as making a 50-meter low pass with some spin on
make
it,
that BLUELOCK
which is a
list. If
pretty
you guys can
hard
make me a
pass
tier
to
list of a
pull
bunch
off,
of BLUELOCK
stated by
creators, I'd do it.
Chigiri.
Like if you guys want
And
to make
the
one
fact
while
that he
watching
didn't
this video,
slow down one bit and it was all one singular connecting motion was so smooth. We also see, even with Chigiri and Nico managing to double press him, he still saw through it, showcasing his vision and awareness being many steps ahead of the BLUELOCKers, as well as his quick thinking, decision making to make it pretty difficult to stop his plays even if they're sought through. Being able
I'd honestly
to get
argue
a
that
pass
Sai is
to
the best new
Sendo
generation 11.
with ease. Though there was really no one on the team that could keep up with Itoshi Sai's passes, this all changes once the second half of the match begins and they bring out the demon Shido Ryusei. We get to see more of Sai's perfect passes as he now has a player like Shido who can respond to them accordingly. Keep in mind, Shido was described by Ego
I don't like
as
his
a player
thumbnails,
who
but I think his video
BLUELOCK
editing
couldn't
is.
contain,
I think his editing style.
and no one in BLUELOCK could really work with and bring out his all. But Sai manages to not only coordinate with Shido easily off
here's
of
the
it
thing.
by sending him a pass
TDI, I know your
that
point.
not only
I know your point about the PO2 scans. I used to use PO2 scans because that's all I could find. But I have now I can use the official scans because I know I can actually afford them and read them using that. So that's what I use for them now. I try to use them, but
fulfilled
I
his desired
totally
shooting
understand that
point to make
stress.
his ideal shot, but also accounted for Chigiri's max sprinting speed to pass it just outside of his range and the spin and speed of his own pass. That isn't all though, because Sai was also able to bring out Shido's all by challenging him with more passes, getting him into the flow state, and ultimately scoring a super goal, being his big bang drive shot in chapter 130. When it comes to his vision and spatial awareness, we see it pretty much throughout the entire match, as he's a very logical and analytical player who plans a few steps ahead, but it's mainly been shown on the offense, but it's just as useful on defense as
I've never
well.
heard of Savage
We
Toby.
see him able to read Chigiri's pass to Karasu as well as his positioning and intercepts it. He also
But yeah. Bottom line, if you guys want to make a tier list for me to rank Blue Lock content creators, go ahead and do that.
intercepts Gagamaru's
I'm gonna
vision
skip through ahead this
test that
video
his
a little
body
bit,
also
'cause
has
he's talking about
many
Sai. I know what Sai can do.
made Sai a dream of like Metin could surpass or it had match, and it only made him see much. Name is still mentioned of egg. In terms of narrative, Itoshi Sai's name is still mentioned a few times after that match, and it only made him seem much more like a monster. Now the year bag level with these four
Okay.
players being
4 players.
Hiyori Yo, Mikage Reo, Charles Chevalier, and Alexis.
People don't pronounce his last name right. It's Chevalier. His last name is pronounced Chevalier. Out of these midfielders, I think the only one with the potential to surpass Sai is Charles. I think he's the only one who can. Oh, I don't care that Natsu used my thumbnail in the video. I don't care. I just thought it just caught me off guard. I thought it was funny. In terms of these midfielders, if I'm being honest, Charles is the only one with the potential to surpass Sai. Charles has been able to hit passes that no one else has been able to hit before. Like, and if my theory is right about his vision style, like the unique vision style that Charles has, I think that would make Charles the closest to him. Do you guys want me to keep watching this video? There's a big case for Ryo, but in the regards of surpassing Itoshi Sai, it seems to be in the regards of a midfielder. Ryo can play in any position well. Ness is the only genius midfielder. I do not realize. But yeah, but Sai is a talented learner. Right? Like, the rest of them are talented learners. You know what? You guys want to start doing some hot takes? You guys want to start doing some hot take stuff? Okay. Let's, give me 1 second while I pull it up. Here we go. Okay. Here are the Blue Lock hot takes. This is how we do the Blue Lock hot take slideshow. So, actually, I should probably just scroll down a little bit. Okay. Okay, here we go. So this is part 4? Yeah. Okay, so here's part 4. We did the 3 other parts with Hiryo. At this point, we did it with we did the part 1 with Hiryo. We did part 2. Me and Raven. We did part 3 with Hiryo on a live stream. So now we're doing part 4. Before we do that, again, can you guys try and cook up that content creator thingy? Be good for me to use. What's Blue Lock Bingo? Can you explain it? Devil Fire. What's Blue Lock Bingo? I don't get it. Has there been a chemical reaction that doesn't involve a talented learner? Yeah, Bachata X Audio. No, that's the first one that came to mind. Anyways, hot take time. Alright, first hot take. Gagamaru should have gone to Manshan City. I don't know. I don't think whether Gagamaru went anywhere else would have changed anything. Gagamaru doesn't really seem to have an ego about positions. Like, he didn't really care. Like, he was putting the goalkeeper. So, I don't really think he cares. Where can you submit hot takes? There's a post on my YouTube a couple weeks back. You leave your hot takes there, and I add them to the slideshow. I think when it comes to Gagamaru going to Manshan City, it doesn't matter. He would have played goalkeeper anyways. He wouldn't really have improved, I don't think. So I don't think it would have mattered. Sendo is underrated. I agree. I think if Gagamaru was on PXG, do you think PXG would have won? Yeah. Yeah. Whatever team Gagamaru went to probably would have won. Sendo's underrated. Yeah, Sendo is 100% underrated. Sendo's not good as like a solo striker, but he's great as a secondary. He's great at link ups. He's great at score. He's great at shooting when he's like at a loose ball. He's good. I would say Sendo's incredibly underrated, and people don't rate him as high as they should. Okay. IQ has the worst flow state. What do you think? I don't know. Like, if we're talking flow state to just a player being in flow, I wouldn't necessarily consider IQ to be bad. Like, it just makes him slightly better than he already is. And he's already really good. But I think that there are definitely worse flow states. Like, you could probably... Like, obviously, Isagi, Bachara, Rain, their true flow states are better than any other normal flow state. Shido's Big Bang Drive, his flow state then was good. Bato's flow state's really good. Because he can hold it for a long time. Yeah, Yuki Miya's flow state could be worse. I don't know. Gagamaru's a character. No, we're not. No, not even acknowledging that. Gagamaru is the GOAT. I don't even want to hear it. He is a GOAT. He is the GOAT. If his aura was anything, it would be a GOAT because that's what he is. He is a GOAT. Oh, I didn't realize how long ago I made this. I didn't realize how long ago I made this slideshow. I guess now you know how old this thing was. All blue lockers are undervalued in the NEL. I don't think some are undervalued. I think the valuing is a little skewed to where they're hyping up things that shouldn't be entirely hyped up. You have to, at least as us as a reader, we can analyze more from the perspective of the series. I think that it makes sense a little bit, but from us, like, Shido should not be 100 million. He should be lower than that. But like, I don't know. We'll do the two more. Rain should have gone to FC Barcha. Ooh. That's a good one. I'll let you guys discuss that for 1 second. I'm going to reach out to Raven real quick. See if Raven wants to hop on here with us. Make the stream more fun. When it comes to Rain going to FC Barcha, do I think Rain will accept the bid or not? Yeah, you can't deny it. You can't just reject. You can't reject the bid. When it comes to going to FC Barcha, I think Rain didn't necessarily develop at PXG, and I think going to FC Barcha wouldn't really have led to any development either. I think he would have just developed the exact same. But I don't know. Maybe that's me. And I guess that's all I have here. I must have loaded it onto the wrong slideshow. Well, I guess that's all we got for now. God, let's go back to Natsu. I want to rant about Natsu. Let's go back to Natsu. I want to rant about that guy. Okay, let's just bop. All right, we'll have me here. If you have BLUELOCK TV, you have access to previous matches that players have played. So I feel like that some value should have been based on how fast they have been evolving. That's true. Extendo video time. Let's have a couple community questions. You guys send in your question that you want me to answer. It could be about anything. Could be about controversy. Could be about like more Natsu controversy. I'll rant again and I'll debate with you guys. Could be BLUELOCK and life. I don't care. Just ask away. I'm gonna eat another cookie. I'll tell you this now. Soft cookies are the best. Like, when it comes to cookies that are like nice, soft, chewy, best kind of cookie. Do I think there's a chance that Shido's a hybrid? No, Shido's a freedom-based player. There's no doubt about it. How am I doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Here. Just for fun, I'll show you guys the drawing I've been working on. Just cause. I'm pretty proud of it. I'm happy with it. I think it's pretty good so far. Here we go. Okay, here's the drawing I'm currently working on. So I haven't seen anyone color the Kaiser Impact before, and so I decided I want to color it. So this is currently the progress on the coloring. I think it's coming pretty well. I think it's going pretty well, but there's still some areas I like to improve. I definitely know I could fix and work on, but what do I mean by freedom-based players? So in this series, there are aspects of your environment that apply to your ego. Like, let me just put this over here. So there are factors that relate to your ego. There are like your ego types, like that relates to like your playstyle and your mindset. Lionheart's been colored. I've never seen that before. Never seen the coloring for it before. So there's relations to your ego. There's your mindset and playstyle, which is like self or world style or genius or talent to learn. And then there's the environment factor, which is your freedom or restrictive. Shido can't thrive when there's restriction. If he gets restricted, he's done for. We saw this with Kunigami. What's up, ex-mom? How you doing, man? Yeah. I hope you guys do like the drawing. I'm very happy with it. This is very specific to you. At the start of BLUELOCK, did you generally think Team Z was the bottom of the barrel? Even yeah, I did. I got into BLUELOCK through the anime, so I watched it all when the anime was releasing. I knew nothing about the manga. Why Sky Dragon? Thank you for coming. Sorry, I blanked. I didn't see anything about the anime when it was releasing. I only watched the anime. So what I did was once season 1 ended, I read through the manga and got caught up. I think I read from third selection to end of Manchine City, which is where the manga was up to that point in, I think, like 2 weeks. Can I react to Man vs. Jar? Onyx, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get out. What do I think is my best video I've ever made? Ooh, there's a lot of good ones. There are a lot of good ones. So let's just go to my channel. Well, here's the thing. One of my favorites I really liked was the Ray Dark one, because I've had this theory for a while, but it got screwed. I would say another one that was my Psy theory one here. That was really good in my opinion. I really like that. I like this one as well. The Isagi, why Isagi's final goal wasn't plot. I really liked the Shido and Kunigami, why it was perfectly written in the NEL video. I really enjoyed that one. But I don't really like doing the Arsenal videos anymore. It's just kind of boring. They don't generate a lot of views. But even then, like BLUELOCK New World is my most viewed video, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite video I've made because it wasn't really me. I had my team edit. I had my team go through and make the animations and such. So I would say it's mostly them. Do I think Chigity's going to be dominant on defense now that Bro fixed his stamina? No, he's going to be dominant on offense still. I want to see the Blue Locker's life outside of Blue Lock. Do you think Isagi will have a girlfriend? No, but I would like to see Blue Lockers outside of Blue Lock as well. What's my top 5 favorite characters? I can't tell you my top 5. I know my favorite is Chigity. Like, top 1 is Chigity. But in terms of characters I like Isagi, I like Nagi, I like Aiku, I like Kaiser, I like Ness, I like Anri. Like, there's a lot of characters I do like. I just can't sort them. I like Yukimiya. I just can't sort them into a top 5 without, like, extensive thinking. I haven't, like, thought on it too hard. Well, Francois, I think that's how you pronounce your name. Shido's already a freedom type player. If you put him into restriction, he sucks. So he's not ever going to be a restricted type player. The only player I would consider close to being a mix is Kaiser. There might be more, but I can't think. Nagi's a good one. I like Nagi. Nagi's a good player. Who messaged me? Raven messaged me. See if we can get him on stream. He's trying to do voice lines now, but I think we should convince him. Y'all should totally tell Raven to join the stream. My IQ voice actor prediction one was your favorite video of mine? Really? Well, she just kind of gotten pissed and like attacked someone. So I don't know if that counts. Yeah, if Raven can, I'm gonna. Characters you hate the most? I don't necessarily dislike characters. I dislike the glaze a lot of characters get. Like, I don't like Karasu or Shido because of the overwhelming glaze they get. I'm not the biggest fan of Rain. I think Rain is cool, but like I'm not the biggest fan of Rain. For me, your best video is why Isagi's final goal was not plot. I really liked it and started following from that. Dude, thank you so much. I'm glad you I'm glad you appreciate the content and, you know, enjoy yourself. I'm trying to get Raven on, but he's trying to have a life, and we can't have that happen. We can't let that happen. My least favorite, I don't like Iga Goody. If that counts. I highly doubt it, but if Natsu makes other content, do you think he would be the best? I don't know. Like, I don't think I think if he stopped making leaked content, like the only reason he's at where he is right now is because of the leaked content. And I think he might lose like maybe 50%, maybe, if he just stopped covering leaks entirely, because there would be other people to go to. Yeah, he has a life. Onyx, you want to get on here? Like, I think Natsu just is in a position where I'm not gonna like him. Where do I see my channel in 5 years' time? I don't know. Maybe still covering BLUELOCK. maybe I can live off of this outside of college. If I were to stop, like if Blue Lock were to end, what content would you like to see me cover? There's another show I would really want to cover, and it's Shangri-La Frontier. I love Shangri-La Frontier. It is so good, and I think it is one of the best shows I've ever watched in my life. Like, I wouldn't put it on the same level in terms of depth, but I put my enjoyment of the show on the level of, like, me watching One Piece. Like, Blue Lock, One Piece, and Shangri-La Frontier, I would say are my 3 go-tos. Dr. Stone's another good one I would really like to talk about. Thoughts on making a Prediction Master Strikers VA on video? Well, here's the deal. I don't know if they're going to go for accents. If they're going to go for accents, I don't know a lot of voice actors who have accents. So I think I might be screwed there. Do I think Shido played before Blue Lock since they had no club before? I don't know. I always make a joke. That's not. New Ember chapter dropped. I know I read it. I thought it was very good. If you want to maintain the same audience, you have to cover Kuroko's Basket. I'm not the biggest fan of Kuroko's Basket. I watched it. I thought it was great, but I don't like it enough to cover content on it. I would not stop making Blue Lock content, obviously. I'd probably still talk about Blue Lock. But it'd probably be like what Naruto creators do. They still talk about Naruto and Boruto and stuff. We have at least 5 years time. Blue Lock YouTubers tier list. If you can get me a tier list for them, I'll do it. Get me a tier list and I'll make it. How long do I think Blue Lock's going to be? 5 years minimum. I think 5 years minimum is realistic. You should just use their name instead of profile pictures and make it quick. Well, I don't know a lot of Blue Lock creators. Like, I watch Raven, Onyx, a little bit of Hirio. I think that's it. Like, I'll watch Suki a little bit, but I don't watch him all the time. What made you start making Blue Lock content? So, okay, that one is very special. So, I'll go all the way down here. Let me just filter by oldest. So, it was this video right here. So, I was originally making One Piece content with a little bit of other stuff. Oh, also, Onyx is joining us. So Onyx is going to be on the call. And he's going to be on the stream in a second. When it comes to making content, this video, the Kaiser's 2 different Metavisions video, that made me get into it because I had, I was, I think, the very first person to talk about Kaiser having Predator Eye. I never saw a single, like, theory about Kaiser having Predator Eye. So I made the video on it, and that blew up by my standards because I had like 300 subs. So 8.2K was a lot for me. It's still a lot for me now, but I was the first person to talk about Kaiser having Predator on YouTube, and I'm like, wow,
You're a trailblazer.
I am. Thank you, Onyx.
Yeah, I got you. What's up? How we doing, Chad? How we doing?
Yeah, they were asking what got me into Blue Lock, and just talking with them about stuff. What got you into Blue Lock?
That's a So, I hate to like rip the veil down, guys. Onyx isn't my first ever YouTube channel. Maybe in the future I'll talk about my first channel. No guarantees.
So is this like your mistress channel?
This is like my 4th channel actually. I started streaming when I was like 12, and I'm like 20 now. So I've been doing this shit for like the better half of a decade.
Oh, I think every 10-year-old was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do YouTube," and then just got like a view, and it was them watching their video.
No, literally. But yeah, I mean, my first video was like the top 10 video. I think this is back when like Clamp was still doing like specifically just Blue Lock stuff, and I was like, because like Blue Lock was the first manga I read because I watched the anime and I got so into it, and I didn't want to wait for like the rest of the first season to come out, so I just picked up the manga. And I was like, oh, I'm so into this. I feel like I have like enough information to back up my argument for who I think is top 10. And so I made that, and then that video did like really fucking well. And I was like, holy shit. And I just kept going from there. and then I kept
Gotcha.
getting sick, and then I kept dying, and then now I upload once a month. So you're welcome.
I've offered to edit for you, bro.
I know you have, but I feel bad because knowing you, you're gonna like edit it and then like get whooping cough and then be like, no, it's fine. I'll get the video out on time.
Well, I do. I had food poisoning and was editing on the toilet.
Yeah, like literally. I also had food poisoning
Yeah.
the week before spring break, so I feel you there, dude.
What video was it? I think it was here, let me go to my latest. I think what video was it that I had that I was just like dying when I was making it? It might have been my Ray when I was making my Ray Dark video, I was going through stuff.
I was gonna say there was one video where you explicitly say like I'm still recovering from like an illness or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head though, but like I remember watching that. I was like, oh, this is the one he was talking about, like the group chat, like the DMs.
Yeah.
He was being like, yo, it's rough out here.
Yeah,
I
editing
remember
while
you
on
telling
in
me
the
about it. And I was
bathroom.
like, damn, yeah.
I was sitting on my iPad in the bathroom, pulling through panels to find what I need to do.
See, Chad, I don't have the dedication that Arrow has. That's why videos are much less frequent.
Do I like Beyblade? I fucking love Beyblade. I love Beyblade.
Did you like watch the show as a kid? Like get really?
I
into
watched
it, or?
the entire show like 4 times over as a kid. As soon as they came out
Really?
with Burst and then the Bay Wheels, I stopped. I'm like, no, thank you. As soon as the
that's how I feel
Beyblades were
about
no longer
Yu-Gi-Oh.
metal, I stopped.
Mm.
I had an
Yeah,
OG. I had an original Storm Pegasus. I had all the different kinds of Pegasus, but my favorite by far was Sagittarius. With the claws on the bottom. I loved the claws. I thought the claws were such a cool spin track design, so I loved it. I thought it was so cool.
Oh, what up, Suki?
Wait, Suki's here?
Yeah,
Suki.
he's just like Unka's online. Unka's here. Oh my god.
Suki, get on the call. Oh, you're at school. Don't get on the call.
Boo.
Focus on school.
No, join your lecture and have your professor talk.
Yo, yeah, your professor knows you make content. Tell them about me. Tell your professor about me, bro.
It's funny because multiple of my professors know who you are now because I've like gone to them in like one-on-one meetings during like advisor time to be like, hey, can we get feedback? I was wondering if we could get feedback on the script, and all of them like it. So I think we're heading in a good direction. When you have professors and professional writers saying, yeah, this plot, like your act 1 is going in a good direction, I think we're in a good spot.
Oh yeah, like that relates to the movie, by the way. So
yeah.
What's the next video? Can we get some hints? Yeah, it's gonna be a Null Noah and Ego Theory video, followed by a What If it's inspired by Onyx.
Hell yeah.
Well, it's not the What If itself isn't inspired by you, but I really like your style of the What If, so I'm
Thanks.
gonna.
I still want to like try and upgrade my content in like the editing sense of that because I feel like it could be less boring. Not that I think the video inherently is boring, but like we can all admit, especially on part 3 being like what almost 20 minutes.
I wouldn't say it's boring. I'd say it's slow, which is fine.
Yeah,
You have a slow
like PNG wiggling around dot like MP4 is not like the most attractive thing to look at, and I'm aware of that. But I want to fix that. I want to fix that going forward.
I want to do a What If where I can get voice actors to voice the characters.
Dude, no, that would like actually. Mwah.
Like,
If only I had like voice acting talent, I'd do it myself.
Should I? I'll probably work on the video on stream, unless you guys would rather me just end the stream and be more productive. We're getting
Yeah, it's
some
hard
fire
to balance
content.
chat
Oh, yeah,
and
you are.
edit. Suki. Onyx ASMR goes hard. Thanks, buddy. Listen to my soft, smooth voice. Rico Suave.
Can you use that voice and just quote Vines, please?
Oh, like what? This one?
Yeah.
Free Shavakadu. I don't know. I feel I've done this thing. Jesse James. Like I started doing.
There was a meme I saw, dude, where it was like, make a noise like a Charizard, and James just goes, It's so fucking funny.
Dude. No, I've done this thing when I start recording, and I never meant to intentionally do it, but I like purposely. Well, again, not purposely, but like subconsciously, I'll like lower my voice when I start my recording. So like this is like how I normally sound, how I normally talk. But when I start to record my videos, I talk like this. I do a little me. How's it going, everybody? My name's Onyx, and it's just like that's not how I talk normally, and I don't know why I started doing that, but I like it too much to stop.
Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier.
Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier. Like it's like I don't know why I started doing it, but I recognized it at a certain point. And I was like,
You know what,
well,
Onyx? You want to do a tier list with me?
sure. I got like an hour before my next class, so I'm chilling.
Nice. I just tried to register for classes. Dude, they have social media marketing and influencer marketing at my school.
Fuck you, dude. I wish my school was that cool.
Yeah, but what cucked me is I was trying to take it next fall term because I wanted to take over the summer I was going to take the intro class, but they don't let me register for those classes until I've already finished the intro class. So I'm cucked for a whole extra term out of my minor.
I feel like you could email your advisor and like just ask for an override.
Yeah, I'm meeting with them on Friday, or I'm meeting with them not Friday. I'm meeting with them on Monday on a call.
Nice.
And I'm gonna call them and be like, "Yo, can you just like put me in this class? I know for a fact I'm gonna pass it." Like,
yeah, that's what I'm doing with my marketing minor because you have to take there's one class that you have to take before you can take any other class, and I'm taking that in the summer, but since it's not technically completed by the time I go to register for like the fall, and
same thing
it's the same
for me
issue
right now. Same thing with me. But
and so I just emailed my advisor and I was like, "Yo, can I just like get the override?" And she was like, "Yeah, sure. If you have it." She just emailed me and I was like, "Word." So I assume your school would also do something like that, but that's obviously a case by case thing.
Yeah, I at least registered for because like intro is not hard to get over the summer. It's not. So I'm gonna so I registered for intro over the fall in case I can't. So I at least have it, and then if they let me override it, I'm gonna just apply for the intro over the summer and then take it over the summer.
Oh hell yeah!
But yeah, what kind of blue lock tier list should we do today?
I mean, I assume that you're not gonna spend the time to make one. So what do we got on like the default?
Yeah, it's only what kind of blue lock tier list? They wanted us to do blue lock content creators, but I'm too lazy.
I mean, if there is one that already exists, I do it. But I feel like
I also don't watch enough.
Yeah, I mean, we could totally like set aside a day to like just create the tier list ourselves, but I feel like there probably isn't one that already exists. So therefore, not today.
You used in that one video. We did a lot of debating, dude. I went on a 45-minute rant about how I hate Natsu.
Like in this stream or just in general?
On the stream.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I ranted. Hold on, I'm gonna show you it. We showed the chat it, and because they enjoyed me ranting about Natsu, I'm gonna show you it. We found evidence that he AIs his stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So,
dude, I don't know if it's just BLUELOCK specifically because I'm not like big on anime YouTube, but there's so many creators that just like blatantly use AI, and it makes me so upset.
So, can you see can you hear the stream? If I share it with you, if I shared it with you?
Yeah, I can unmute it.
Here, no, here. If I share my screen,
I'm behind by like 10 seconds though, but
here, I shared my screen. Do you see?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
So, I'm gonna show you the first thing, right? So let's talk about. Let's go here, right?
We are going to see who will be joining in on the other.
Oh, is this the Megumi Bachira thing?
King of Blue Lock,
No.
Burū. Now, Burū is a character who can make.
Listen again.
Burū.
Burū, right?
Burū.
Now, the reason I know that's AI is because when it comes to when you say Baro, you say it like BARO with like a long O.
Yeah, you'd also expect somebody with like this amount of like subscriber size to like get the name. Like again, people pronounce names differently, whatever. But like you'd expect them to get a little bit closer.
Yeah, but when you do it into AI and you have a computer AI it, they're gonna say Burū because it's OU. That's how it's gonna.
I'm pretty sure I've heard people say Barrow, and I'm like, you know what? Good enough.
Burū.
Burū. Yeah. No, there was one video I was watching where Megumi Bachira got called Megumi Bachira, and I'm like, bro, this is not Jujutsu Kaisen. What the fuck is happening?
No. Watch what he calls Bachira here.
Oh no.
So let's move on to the right wing, where we find no one else. Then the monster of Blue Lock, Bachira Meguru.
Bachira Maguru. I'm sorry, Bachira Maguru? That's
Yeah,
not
but-
even his name. It's an E. Stop disrespecting my boy.
He spelled it wrong. He spelled it wrong. Magaru. Magu. Like,
My only thing is that like you would hope that someone with this many subscribers would like check their videos more.
oh, that's the other thing. So when you're okay, if you were to put Chigiri in your position for a formation, not sex
Mhm.
position.
Ah.
Damn, what position would you?
Fuck.
What position would you put him in for the team?
Based on my limited knowledge of like real world football / soccer and just like the show itself, probably as like just on the wing, either as like a wing back or like as a winger.
What side though?
Well, I don't remember. There's one specific side because it was 44 Panther snipe, but I don't know what it is. Is it the left
Okay.
side? I don't remember.
It's the left side. So
Yeah, okay.
Natsu puts him in as a right side back.
Mm.
Also, in Strudel,
Okay.
dude, the female Blue Lock fans, they don't deserve the hate. Some of them are weird, but that's every community.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah, no, that's just how it's gonna be. It was
Like,
bad with Haikyuu. I remember
let's
the
start a
Haikyuu
movement.
craze.
Every content creator, every male content creator who spreads bad about the female creators, can we just do to them what they do to the female fans? You probably only watch the show for the boys, don't you? You probably
Yeah,
do.
right.
And just
Probably
see
only
how
watch the
pissed they
show
get.
for Audrey, like fucking bro.
Well, yes, obviously, but just say you probably watch it because the boys are hot, don't you? Just watch him get pissed off.
No, like, no, right.
Yeah,
there's
but,
definitely, yeah, no,
yeah.
just
Um,
that sucks. That shit just sucks.
What happened to the Blue
That's
Lock
all I gotta
movie?
say.
We're still working on it. It's not going to be done anytime soon. We're doing some rewrites too, just because we want to make sure there's no mischaracterization. But it's going to be good. I promise you.
Because I remember the same advisors I like asked for advice on. They were like, "When do you think this is gonna be done?" I was like, "Fuck, hopefully before we graduate." Like,
Oh no, probably not. I wouldn't expect this to be done until after season 3.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah.
But I feel like that'd be better.
Like
'cause you
2027.
get to see Lorenzo already in the anime.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
So
for
that's a
sure.
good thing. But this is here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play you the full uncut clip of Natsu arguing for Chigiri. Are you ready? And I want you to just tell me
Okay,
if
yeah,
it
go
makes-
ahead.
If it makes
Go
any
ahead.
sense.
Left backs. There's a ton of players I could pick from, as there's so many players who have the ability to play in these spots. But for the first position on the right side, I have chosen my absolute favorite character, so I might be a bit biased. But it's none other than the Princess Chigiri. Now Chigiri serves as more of an offensive right back, as we saw in the U20 match. Now his biggest downfall in the U20 match was that he didn't have the stamina to sprint for the full match. But after training his body to the max with Chris Prince in the Manshine City facility, I feel like he should be fine now. Chigiri would serve as a great right back, as thanks to his speed, he can fast be both in the defensive line and the offensive side at both times. Also, if they are going for a fast counter, then Gagamaru can easily throw the ball over to Chigiri, who will start the counter and catch the opponents off guard. However, due to him being a right back, he won't be able to attack and get shots on the goal, which is a bit unfortunate, especially when he's been showing such great results in the Manshine City matches. But I do think that this is the right spot for him. Now we leave Chigiri and instead go over to the other side.
That was his point. Does that not
None of them
sound
are-
like AI? Like it was AI written?
None of them sound terrible. I mean, like if you really like go in depth to the manga, I feel like it's kind of obvious that you would wanna. Maybe not obvious, but I
But-
feel like there's definitely a greater argument for someone wanting to put him on the left side. But
the
also, like
argument he's
those
making
reasons
is
weren't
outdated.
very in depth. Yeah.
They're outdated. They're not. As someone who covers chapter review content, leaks as they drop, are you seriously? You put images on screen showing why Chigiri should be on the left side. You putting him in a position that's not only on the opposite side of the pitch, but also in a back position for the purpose of him being solely as a crosser. You're mischaracterizing him. You're mischaracterizing.
That and then also
his-
defender too. He was like, yeah, he won't score. It's like, the fuck do you mean? He's one of the most consistent scorers in the NEL.
Yeah, like that's
It's
his
like- it's
entire
like-
purpose.
Him, Bachira, Kaiser, probably Ren, actually definitely Ren, and Burū are like the only 5 characters that I named that have scored at least 1 goal in every single match. Now, granted, they haven't scored the most because Shido scored a
I think
ton.
Shido scored a goal in every match.
no, because
Shido-
Ren had a hat trick one match.
Oh yeah, so
But like still, like those guys score a ton of goals, but they're not as consistent as like those 5 that I just named.
Yeah.
And then for this guy to be like, yeah, he's like one of the most consistent scorers. He's gonna play only defense and just pass. It's like, what the fuck are we doing, dog?
Yeah.
That is not optimal.
But
listen, you can have an opinion, and if your opinion is Chigri should be on the right back, that's fine. Your opinion is wrong.
yeah, like you can have your opinion, but your opinion is wrong. You have a wrong opinion.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah. Like,
but the dialogue, doesn't it sound like if you ask ChatGPT which position should I put Shigiri Hyoma in the starting?
I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna do that right now.
Yeah, I want to do that.
ChatGPT. Yeah, let's go do that. Let's go do that. I don't know which model this is because I know
Hold
that
up.
like
Yeah.
the newer model, the better it's supposed to be. But like,
Do you know who
pay
Shigiri
enough attention to
Hyoma
AI.
is? Do you know who Shigiri Hyoma is? Yes. If I were building a starting 11 formation in Blue Lock, which position should Chigiri play? So even AI says left winger or left forward
Really?
and other positions.
Yeah. I got the same result. It said I'd place Shigiri Hyoma as a left winger or a left forward in a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. So even AI knows you should be. Oh, there's some right wing points.
Well, yeah, but it says right winger, like upwards in the right wing.
My only thing is, if he's putting Chigiri on the right wing, who is he putting on the left wing?
He put Bachara.
Did he put like? Oh, okay.
He put Bachara and Bada as the wingers, which aren't bad picks. But hold up, actually, yeah, let's see this. What is?
Or who was the other
ChatGPT
side back then? Who was the other side back then?
Karasu.
Oh no! You put like get like
no.
someone who could dribble. No.
Not even then. You don't put him as a side back. You put him in as the center defensive midfielder.
Yeah, that's like the only position he's good at, and then you have like 3 other people that could probably play it better than him. Tokimitsu, if he survives, maybe because if Tokimitsu survives, which I don't think he is, he's a bottom of the bench player. He's not doing shit in the U20 arc. But it's like him, Raichi, who's not as good as Karasu, especially since he has Metavision now, and then Kunagami. But Kunagami's better at man marking, I'd say. But I think overall defense goes to Karasu. But
yeah. But
yeah, no, I don't.
But Natsu's response down here in the comments is what got me. Just here to make some corrections. Yeah, Rain doesn't have Metavision. Vision. He said
yeah, it's not
Metavision
confirmed,
vision.
I guess. But there's.
I don't know why I thought he did, but thanks for reminding me. I also forget that Chigiri is a much better fit on the left wing. Kind of crazy to forget that, as he's my favorite character. If he's
I
your
can see it
favorite
as an
character,
oversight.
no, it's not.
I can see it as an oversight.
So you can see it as an oversight that you forget your favorite character's entire purpose in the story.
Not entire purpose of the story, like
in the recent arc for the past 150 chapters, Shigiri has played as a left winger, and you choose to put him in a position that he only played for 1 game.
Well, it depends because it's not just like you're forming Manshine. You're getting like all the other blue lockers in.
That's fine, but there's no reason you should put him as a side back on the right side.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. I don't know though. It's an oversight. I'll give it to him.
Why are we still on Natsu?
He corrected himself.
I needed to rant.
Yeah, Arrow loves doing this. I don't know. I mean, he corrected himself. Granted, it's a comment. Like, how many people are going to see that versus watch the actual video? But he corrected himself, so I'll give him points for that.
But the issue that arises...
my thing is that considering how big his channel is and like how notable he is in the Blue Lock community, I would hope he would like fact check himself a little bit more. But
not even
that,
but it's the fact that he makes chapter content. So if anyone should be more relevant on the events of the story, it's someone who makes content on the chapters themselves.
That's true, but also as someone who like reads the like hunts the leaks weekly, I don't remember everything that happens. Then again, putting Chigiri on the right side back, it's definitely a bit of an oversight.
But when you use images in your video that show Chigiri being on the left side, You're
one Natsu
sacrificing
hater
his
versus one Natsu don't minder.
you're sacrificing his shooting for the aspect of crossing when there are so many better people you could put in that position to still allow for Chickadee to do his thing while still letting. You could have put Bachara back there, a dribbler who can cross.
Yeah.
Like,
especially like him specifically saying like, yeah, we're cutting off Chigiri's offensive options. It's like, why would you do that? Like
you're
really,
just blatantly mischaracterizing.
Like why are we doing that? I feel like mischaracterizing makes more sense in terms of like who the characters are personality wise.
Well, he says he doesn't want to pass.
Yeah. Well,
if he goes, I don't want to have to pass. I want to use my legs to break through the
when did he say this? Was this a Blue Lock Nagi thing? Or
no, this was in
like...
chapter. This was in main story chapter 175.
175. Okay, I love how you have specific numbers up. It makes debating with you so much more fun.
175. This is after everything. All the way at the bottom. Oh, I don't. Yeah. What is the ideal version of yourself? Tell me your ideal. What kind of soccer player is the ideal Hyoma Chigiri want to be? I don't want to pass. I'll use these legs to break past the defense. I want to make my own goals as a striker.
Okay,
so you're
fair enough.
blatantly mischaracterizing. If you were seriously...
even borrow passes sometimes though. I don't know. I can see the argument you're making, and I'll buy into it, but I'm not gonna buy into it as hard as you are. That's my take on it.
I don't like this guy. I don't like him.
No, you made that very clear.
Are you sure? I can make it more.
You probably can, but
all right. Alrighty. Raven sent me the tier list.
Perfect. We stalled.
Well, he sent me it way earlier. I just have been distracted.
Yeah, no, I know.
So I think this was his ranking. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm with Football Fan on this one. We've been on the PXG game for like 13 months, and honestly, for people who don't know much about football, it's very possible to assume that left and right are practically the same, and that doesn't matter. I totally see that point of the argument, and I agree with that for sure. But again, this is a different critique I had on that video. Why would you admit that you're cutting off his offensive options? I just don't
what
see
you're
the
doing.
merit in that. Yeah.
Like,
I don't see the merit in that. You're taking like arguably top 5 scorer, maybe top 8 if you want to push him down a little bit more, and you're like, we're completely cutting off his offensive options. Yeah. I don't know. I don't buy it.
How it is. Oh, someone DM'd me. Oh, they made a tier list. Someone made a content creator tier list.
Oh, really?
Oh my god, I love you.
Does it stand the man?
I literally made.
Stand the man, you're the GOAT. This is awesome. This is awesome.
Oh my god, I love you.
I'll admit right now, I don't know all of these people, but I think I know a good chunk of them.
Yeah, I agree. First off, Natsu, I will say this. I don't like him. Right? He gets a lot of stuff wrong. But I will say, I think the fact that he gets leaks out quick, while
like consistently he's first.
I'm putting him here. I'm putting him bottom C. Right? I'm putting like Animasu B. I think Animasu's a great guy. I love what he does, but his content is the majority of the time strictly leak stuff. When he does post an individual video, it's very good. I put him above Natsu because while it does come out late, his translations are far more accurate. Because he's actually translating the manga directly.
And he's also pretty consistent. I feel like he's been uploading like once or twice a week for a while.
Yeah, it's consistent, but he's usually later than normal sometimes. Like recently his life has been very hectic, so I don't doubt.
Well, trust me. Once we get to me and some other content creators, consistency will be an issue that gets brought up.
Like, I'm gonna be honest, Hideo S tier.
Oh, for sure.
Not even just in popularity. His editing style is fast.
No, if I had to nominate like one person to represent Blue Lock YouTube, it would be Hario.
100%. I also put it like this. I would say he's the best one also because I don't mean to be offensive, but because he doesn't have an accent, he's a lot more accessible to people. When you're watching a video, accents turn a lot of people off from your video. And it's
unless you're Raven, and then I get so wet. Well, I get so moist.
Not even then, but more people will watch someone who lacks an accent more than someone who has one.
And then that also comes into issues with mics. Like, listen, you can have the best editing in the world if you're using that Dollar Tree fucking Turtle Beach headset, like, bro. I'm not watching your video fully through.
Like
I'll be
Sugi's
so
a great
dead ass.
creator. His graphics are some of the best in the community. But his
Oh my
audio
god,
is
he's
so
killer
poor.
graphics. Suki, please, I will buy you like a Blue Yeti to like plug into a laptop. Just like
this
send me the
microphone I have
address.
here that I use is, I think it was maybe I think $100-$200, but it is the
Yeah.
best investment I ever made. And by when I say I made, I asked for it for my birthday.
Real. No, when I was in London last semester, I literally bought a Blue Yeti for myself to record. Now, granted, I only recorded like 3 videos and only 2 of them got uploaded with that mic. But like, if you really want to get into this, you should definitely get a high quality mic. And honestly, they're not that hard to come by.
Yeah.
Especially the Blue Yeti Nano, like a USB mic where you literally just plug it in and then you could go to work off of that. Like,
Yeah. But I would say Hideo is by far the best creator. I think if anyone deserves it, he definitely
sure.
does. He deserves
For sure.
the title. Who is this? Who's AG?
oh, I feel like I've seen that logo. I don't know the channel though.
Who? It's not Ace Lock, is it? It's not Ace Lock.
No, because I think Ace Lock still has Lorenzo.
Who is? Do you guys know who this is? Who's AG?
I swear to God, I've seen that logo and I can't recognize the name.
Yeah.
We could skip over for now, I guess. I'm trying to look through my subscription box to see if I can find them.
Yeah. All right. I'm next though. I'm putting myself at a solid like low A.
Put yourself at A. Yeah, put yourself at A.
I think A.
You're consistent. You have a wide. This is something I didn't bring up with Haruo too. He does both, like the anime and manga. I feel like a
Yeah.
decent chunk of people will only cover one or the other. People who cover both tend to do very well.
Yeah.
And then also you have a wide variety
Anime
too. Like,
Greenlee
you do
F.
analysis videos.
F.
Oh, Anime Green. Oh God, yep, that's who it is. No wonder why he's not in my subscription box. He seems like a nice dude, but like, for the love of God, fact check yourself, please. He
There we
seems
go.
like he's got a bit of an ego on him too. You're making him his own category.
There we go. All right. Ballacor. I don't watch Ballacor.
We should make another tier for people that we just don't watch or have not seen.
No, I know Ballacor. I'm gonna put him in the same tier as Natsu. I know he makes like manga
Okay.
content, but I haven't seen anything enough. I haven't heard enough from him or enough like glazing from him to justify putting him any higher.
I will defer from this ranking because I do not.
Anime
want to
Greenlee
do
deserves to
this.
go all the way at the fucking bottom. He does not deserve to. He's horrible. I just watched Dark Hero Josh. I think his name is. I think his editing is great. I think his editing
Okay,
is great.
I will also defer for this one because I don't watch their videos.
I don't watch. I just watched one on stream. A video of his on stream. I've never.
Oh
seen his-
really?
Yeah, a bunch of people sent in their videos and I started watching. I watched like 3 of them.
I missed that part. The part where I typed in chat was when I first got in.
Yeah. Who is this? Extendo?
I think
don't
so.
know. I don't know anything about Extendo either. We're gonna look him up. Extendo.
Right. I was gonna say the PFP is very recognizable.
Yeah, it's Extendo. Let's.
What's it?
go
What's
to
the
most popular.
very consistent uploads.
Most popular.
BLUELOCK episode 13 and 14 season finale. Now, since these 2 episodes came for the animators, animation freak, I've said time. I will say the pen.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. He seems like a very rant style channel. That's not a bad thing. It's just a matter of his editing is very subpar.
BLUELOCK
Like, it seems like he's just putting, like, I'm going through this. It seems like he's just putting an image on screen and it pans while he speaks.
Yeah, I get
Not
trying to
even-
avoid copyright by not like playing like any actual clips, but there's definitely ways to get around it without just like scrubbing through.
I show
a,
the full
flat
clips.
image.
The fuck? You're
Yeah.
fine. Why are we hating on Anime Greenlee? Because his content is horrible.
And he also seems like a douche. He was like, I don't know who Arrow Assassin is. I don't know why y'all are tripping. It's like, bro, you reacted to his trailer, and you stole his art without crediting him.
Yeah, and
You know
not
who
to,
he is.
And not to mention this guy, like, he is a horrible creator when it comes to BLUELOCK. He's pushing the slursugi joke too far to where it's not funny, and it's just glorifying
And then just
racism.
making people feel okay with being ableist. It's like, no,
I
you don't want that here.
I don't like it.
Guys, listen, call me. I don't want to be the over chivalrous one, guys. I don't think we should make fun of people with disabilities. God,
Unless
what a bold
they're
take
your
I just
friends.
made. I make fun of you for
Unless-
being stupid, but that's different. You being stupid isn't a disability; it's just a choice.
I would consider it to be one.
The only
No.
disability I have is disability to make that bread. So
The only disability I have is that I'm fucking starving.
I don't think
So
that's a
hungry.
disability. I think you're just
Well,
hungry.
you want to
Yeah,
help
Slur
me?
Soggy was unfunny ever since like Manshine City match started. Yeah, because like the one time where Asagi actually drops a slur is like a mistranslated like fan translation.
Listen,
like,
it's
then-
it's not the fact that it's Slursugi that's unfunny. It's the fact that you're labeling him as Slursugi for just talking shit. It's not the fact that he's like
Yeah, it's like I'm also not a big fan of like the he has two loving parents joke. By the way, it's like okay, you can have two loving parents and then still get angry at things. You can still be upset. You can still care about things that you do. Like as someone who like actively plays a sport in college, bro, I talk shit all the time. I play rugby. You're not supposed to shit talk in rugby. I still shit talk in rugby because it's a sport and I care and I'm having fun. Like people are gonna shit talk no matter what, but that doesn't mean that they like you need to hype them up to like this absurd level of like ableism and shit. It's like, no, dude. It's just people are playing the sport and they're getting into it and they're having fun. Like
yeah. Extendo, I would say Extendo's like the low B. He seems engaging, but it's not content that's enjoyable to watch. It's like if you put him on in the background, I might listen to his video, but I don't think it'd go any farther than that, to be honest. Hikiko Studios. I feel like
I'm not familiar with this.
I've had an opinion on these guys before.
Blue Lock Chapter 295 might have been the hottest garbage of the year.
Not gonna lie, Kaneshiro, we may have some major questions for you.
Before we get into that, let's start at the beginning of this mess. Chapter 295 starts with an inner monologue from Nagi. We get to see
I
some
fuck with their
flashbacks
energy.
of him and Reo, as well as some of his
I don't like the change in energy. Like one guy goes
Really?
hyper energy to very low. It's not consistent at all, and the quality is a drop off between them each other. Like there's a huge like gap. You know what I mean? Like here, listen, listen to the intro again. Like the quality drop.
Blue Lock Chapter 295 might have been the hottest garbage of the year.
Not gonna lie, Kaneshiro, we may have some major questions for you.
It's
Like-
definitely a bit of a drop off. I personally don't have an issue with it, but
Reo, get the game started.
Reo gets the ball, and it's clear that him and Nagi are moving with the shared motive of staying within the Japan U20 team.
With the current risk of
I
elimination,
also don't like how they're going back and forth. Just have one person cover a point and then switch to the other person. Going back
yeah,
and forth is
I
gonna
think
be
I think
annoying.
that's definitely more beneficial for editing.
If I ever drop a
Just
video for
pacing.
20 minutes, I usually watch the video while you play Minecraft. That's fine. I'm just saying under the context, I would never watch it. I'm not gonna watch Extendo unless I was already doing something else and I happen to see his video pop up. Then I might listen to it. But if I'm looking for a video to watch, then I'm like I don't care.
Yeah, going back to the earlier point, TD is totally right. Everyone talks shit about anything that's competitive. Trash talk is just a part of the experience. Yeah, exactly. Like,
That's
I feel like
fine.
if anybody's played a sport like middle school at least, like you've heard someone like trash talk. Like it's just pretty common.
That's fine. The trash talker thing is fine, but labeling him as being like slursugi, implying he's being
Slur
racist,
soggy. It's like bro.
especially like when he was talking to Loki. I think I saw Greenlee make 4 different videos about
Yeah,
Isagi
it's like,
talking
dude, we're
shit
like
to
so
Loki.
far removed from like the original joke right now. It's like, what are we doing?
He also was like, how did Ego invite the players to Blue Lock? When he pulls up a panel, it was like, I don't get how he invited these the clubs to
Oh,
Blue
you talking
Lock.
about like the NEL or the
Yeah.
NEL when it's like the
And
it's like, bro,
I
that's just
I made
their
a video-
U20 team.
No, I literally made a video and I said, brother, you pulled up a panel to make your point 2 pages earlier. In that same chapter, it explains how Ego invited them. If you looked, right? If you looked, that's fine. But I've seen so much content of him just running the slursugi joke or spreading misinformation.
Mm.
Or knocking characters that don't deserve to be knocked. Like, he was talking shit on Ness when Ness was going through a mental awakening, which you can understand, especially given the context of the character, if you aren't just hoping for good football. Because if you don't understand psychology, you're not going to enjoy the manga, because it's a psychology manga. Anyways, I think it's annoying how they go back and forth. If you just had one person cover a point, another person cover another point, it'd be more enjoyable. But like, I don't know. Nothing's keeping me here. So I'm gonna put him like B.
I give him a high C, low B. Yeah.
I'm gonna put him. Their content is very similar to Extendo, so I'm gonna put them at the high C above Natsu because their content seems to be more natural. Like they're using their actual voice and seem engaging.
Yeah.
But they're going back and forth is annoying, and their style is very similar to Extendo, just panning images.
Lessons from anime is A or S, and will refuse to take anything less than that. I've been watching this guy for forever, and by forever I mean like a year, because I think he only started uploading like a couple of years ago. But like I genuinely watch this guy's videos all the time before I even started like Onyx. And then I remember when he got added to one of the servers we're in, and then I sent him a friend request, and then he accepted it, and I was like,
Me?
dude, this is no lessons from anime.
Oh, I was about to say, like, wait, I met you through talk. I even mentioned on stream that my episode Nagi video. I met you the day I made that video because I ranted to you to 2.5 hours and then made the video
about the episode Nagi movie. Yeah, dude.
about why
oh
this sucks
God.
dick.
Yeah.
This movie
No, but-
sucked a massive cock.
No, but Lessons from Anime is great. I love his content. He added me back on the day that Trump got voted in the office. And I was like, I remember waking up to that notification being like, dude, nothing can ruin this day. And then I like checked the polls and I was like, oh no.
Fuck.
If we're ranking him as a YouTuber, definitely S tier. If we're ranking him as a strictly Blue Lock YouTuber, I don't know if I'd put him above Hiro.
Well, they said, are we putting as a Blue Lock? I know he has a second account now. Should we talk about it? Should we use his second account as reference?
I don't know. I don't think we need to use the second account. I just think that like,
well, not in terms of like subs, but in terms of like, because it's still him and it's still the same
videos.
content.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like, he has season 1 full analysis, a video on Igaguri, a video comparing Isagi to Koji, I think his name is, from Classroom of the Elite.
So
1 minute of every Blue Lock character. 5, 6, 7. So yeah, he's got like 6 or 7 Blue Lock videos.
Yeah, he's starting to make more Blue Lock dedicated ones on this channel though.
Hell yeah.
That's why I'm like talking.
Yeah, put him S tier. If you want to put him above Hiro, that's fine. Me personally, I'd put him below just in terms of Blue Lock. Yeah. Great guy. I've spoken to him a couple times. I'm a member of his channel because I like his content.
Yeah. All right. Akira. Where do we put Akira? I'm gonna be 100% honest. I think high B.
That's what I was gonna say. Only because of consistency.
I would put I think his thumbnails are really good. I think he's a little too
Shout out
monotone.
his brother for the thumbnails.
But I think it's not even a matter of monotone. I think that's just his style, and I think his style is good for him. He's consistent. It's engaging, but I think the timeline on his videos is
because you're only getting videos like once a month from him.
Yeah, because like here's the thing. I feel like it's not your fault if you can't make uploads, but I feel like it does affect your ranking.
Oh, for sure. This isn't like a personal dig on Akira.
No,
like the times I've talked to like him, he's like awesome, but it's just, like we're just ranking the channels. Like this isn't meant to be like ranking them as a person, unless it's Arrow talking about anime greenly. That is straight 100 personal. Yeah, these are just like the channels.
Entertain the stream for a second.
Okay, so chat, we're gonna talk about me next. I'm gonna be so dead ass. I don't upload enough to get anything besides like a low B tier. Like put me like. I need to be like connected to Extendo, whether I'm like below him or above him. Doesn't really matter to me. But like, I don't know. I think I have a good diverse amount of content in my videos. Like I don't stick to one specific niche. I've done top 10s. I've done ranking videos. The what ifs obviously do really good. But no, my God, dude. Ever since like March of like last year, that consistently took a fucking nosedive, dogs. And you can probably hear it now. I'm still a little congested because I'm always dying of like some kind of illness. But yeah, summer I had 2 uploads. Last semester from like August to like early December, I had like 3 uploads, and I had Arrow edit one of those videos entirely, just because I was so busy in London. And then I did the what ifs. I dropped part 1 that did really well. Part 2 that next week, and I didn't upload for another month, and then I didn't even do part 3. It was ranking every goal, and then half the comments on that video were, "Lil bro, where's part 3 at?" And I go, "Fine, fuck you." Then a couple weeks later, I dropped part 3, and then everybody's like, "Okay, when's part 4?" And I go, "I don't know, guys. I'm dying." Anyways, yeah, no, I'm gonna put I'm voluntarily putting myself at like a low B tier, high C tier. I think if I was more consistent, this is obviously, again, like I said earlier, I'm not getting personal with this. This is just me like ranking channels and how the content is made. I think I would, if I upload more consistently, I would have like more subscribers and pull more views than Raven. But again, I don't. Womp womp. Raven's better than me. He's more dedicated to the craft. He is much better about like getting uploads done on like a consistent schedule.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
I'm just shitting on myself right now for not uploading consistently.
Oh.
My sentiment, you can put me wherever you want, because
I'm putting you like low A, to be honest.
Oh,
I liked your content even before we started like talking.
Yeah.
Like, I found you through your ranking video and your chapter
Mm.
review video. That's how I had found your content. I'm like, wow, I really like this guy's content. His voice is nice when he's talking. It's clear, it's concise. He makes his points very well. I would very much like to keep watching.
And thank you, Pencil. No glaze. If you were consistent, you'd be an A. That's for sure. I was talking earlier. I was like, if I was more consistent, I think I'd have more subscribers than Raven. One, because
You started before
the
him.
growth pattern I was on, and 2, because I started earlier. But womp womp, I'm not doing that. Raven's more consistent than I am.
Yeah.
Oh well, what am I gonna do about it?
I'm putting him
Upload
as an
more.
A myself, just because I think the way you make your content makes me watch videos that I typically wouldn't watch. Like your what if, I typically don't give a shit about what ifs. But
Really?
watching your what if, I enjoy watching your what if.
Pencil, I love the glaze right now. Hard settled himself a bit. Yeah, I know. I hard settled myself on B. I don't like being like a little. I guess this isn't probably the right term for it, but like a little egomaniac. Like, I don't like tooting my own horn like that, bro. Like, I will very gladly, humble myself, because obviously
Wait,
I'm
if
not
I go to
the goat.
images, oh my god, I looked up Onyx and the first thing that popped up is Akira.
Hell yeah. Dude, when you like go to YouTube and look at my name, the first thing that would come up is like the collab I did with Suki. It wouldn't even be like one of my videos.
Really?
Yeah. Well, for a while. I
no,
don't, it
now
might
it's
have
your-
changed since the what if.
Dude, your original what if is set 72K.
Yeah. There's another guy who did another what if. That got to like 120. I forget the name of his channel off the top of my head. I'll try and find it in a second. But like, I was like, dude, good shit. Keep it going. And now we're talking about doing a collab, so I'm excited for that. Let me check my DMs actually.
Yeah, I would
yeah,
say
Super
your
Saiyan
what if
Stone.
is something.
Hell yeah.
I enjoy watching your what ifs more than I would, and I also like your ranking videos. I think they're good. But I think your what if is where you shine, honestly.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You have very good storytelling skills.
Thank you. I'm excited to work on part 4. I think I told you I have the script for it done. It just I got like 3 other videos scripted because I
Well-
want to do that copycat video, but that's 16 pages, which is going to be like 30 minutes, and then I'm recording
I have
voice lines for
elements
another
you to use,
video.
by the way. Again, if
Oh,
you need
hell
help
yeah.
with it, let me know. You
I'll
know my
take-
rates. You
Yeah,
know my rates.
I do.
I
I just feel bad, especially when you're like mad busy, because I'm like, oh, I don't want to drive this guy to the ground, but oh well, he's digging his own grave.
I'm not. Trust me, I know my limits. I wouldn't offer if I couldn't.
Okay, word.
Put myself. I would put Raven above you though, but I'm also gonna. Put
Oh,
him
for
with-
sure. No, there's no debate on
I
that.
put myself equal to Raven. I like Raven's content just as much as I like my own.
Yeah,
That
no,
make
for
sense?
sure.
I think
Raven should be above me just through consistency alone. We're not even talking about like the value and content of his actual videos. I fully agree with that sentiment that Raven is, in terms of Blue Lock content creators, better than me.
You don't understand this.
It is also way more engaging with the community,
For
too.
content, everyone does so everyone does something. We're just ranking people. We have our own opinions, and we're ranking people's content. Do I like this person's content? Why or why not? It's a tier list. That's like ranking. That's
Yeah,
like listen. We all talk about blue lockers. It's not fair to rank the blue lockers because we all talk about them. Bitch, what?
Yeah, no, Turtle, we're more so talking about content, not like the character of the person.
Yeah, like I like Animasu a lot. He's a cool dude, but I'm not ranking his content as high as I would, just because I'm not the biggest fan of leaker content. but I rank him higher than I do some other people just because I like the quality of the content he's producing.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. For a little bit, and then but the thing is, Animosity is probably like the Blue Lock content creator I talked to like the second most. First, probably being like Raven. Second, Animosity. Like
The
third,
Destroyer.
Arrow. Like I love this dude with my whole heart. I talk to him all the time.
Who is this?
My opinion on his character and his content is different. I think it's Savage Toby based on the comments.
I've never heard of Savage Toby, ever. Also, someone forgot
Yeah.
Ace Lock in this ranking.
And Ratio 6. Doesn't Ratio 6 do Blue Lock stuff? I know he's friends with Suki, right?
Oh, Raito? Yeah, Raito's cool. Raito cool. Oh yeah, Suki's not even on here. How are you gonna leave out Suki? Damn.
Oh yeah, damn, Suki isn't on here.
Are we like the Blue Lock Avengers? Is this like us?
Ba, 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 ba. No, I'm looking at Savage Toby right now. I watched one of his videos ranking all 18 goals in Blue Lock Season 2.
To reason my way through in this video.
I thought that
Just
video was
prepare
good. It
yourselves
got a
to
good
get
number of
excited,
views,
because in
too.
this video, I will be glazing your favorite characters, dunking on your favorite characters, and worst of all, giving my own opinion.
I'll say this: I like
you.
videos that remind me of very old Mr. Beast videos.
Yeah, no, the editing that like it isn't directly Blue Lock related, but it has to do with like what they're talking about.
Is
I
good.
fuck with that.
That's where I struggle. I never can come up with those correlations.
Hmm.
Like I would make them if I could register them in my brain as I'm doing it, but I just can't seem to get them. So I'm just like, I'm gonna just
Savage Toby is bad take Zoro. Is this like a subjective thing, or is this like a no? He like doesn't use the right evidence to like back up his arguments.
yeah. I don't know. who
Zoro
it is. I'm
has
gonna put him
bad
in a- I'm
takes.
gonna
Okay,
put-
pencil.
I'm gonna put him in
Yeah.
a B. I'll probably put it like here's the thing. I don't watch any of these guys. Like I look at Animosity sometimes, but I don't watch any of these guys. So I'm putting him in B. Like I don't know. I watched Dark Toby. I like his editing style a little more than I like Dark Toby's. I like Dark Arrow Josh, I think his name is. So I'm putting him below. But by far, I don't care what you say. Sizzles is arguably one of the best creators for Blue Lock.
Oh, for sure.
I'm putting him above Lesson with anime in terms of analysis.
No, Suzzles is like the goat.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's what
that
I'm gonna
is-
do. I'm gonna send. I'm gonna send this
Suzzles
to
goes
you.
on my Mount Rushmore
Yeah,
of Blue Lock
100%.
content creators.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna send this to the stream. You guys make your own tier list, and I want you guys to send them my way in the Discord. You can at me in the server. But yeah,
You can
make
also
your own
add me
list.
on Twitter at OnyxAYT. I just
Yeah.
made a Twitter so I can tweet more dumb shit.
Yeah, you can also at me on Twitter too. But yeah, I'm gonna just call the stream here because I've been going for like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
And
I also
gonna
have
take a
class in like 30 minutes, so.
nap. I'm gonna take a nap and then I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna work on a new video. I was gonna do it on this video, but I don't want to.
Word.
So I'm gonna go to bed and then when I wake up, I'm gonna work on some stuff. Yeah.
Word. Bye, chat.
Thank you guys so much for joining the stream. It's been 3 hours. This was a long one. Sucks Raven couldn't join. He doesn't love me, but I will. I'll see you guys.